Hello, 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 and welcome to the stream. Let's turn a bit of this music down. It's still such a banger theme. Alright, let's jump over. I think this is the right channel. Yes! Hello! Welcome to this kind of random Super Smash Bros. Stream. There's nothing particularly special going on with Smash Bros. At the moment. Because last time I did a video like this, it was for Smash's anniversary. But earlier this week, I know the Discord likes doing Smash Brothers roster challenges every so often. And earlier this week I got an idea. I've been thinking a lot about the future of Super Smash Brothers. And what's can they do after Ultimate? Because in my eyes, I've always seen Ultimate as being this Sakurai's big last hurrah, right? The culmination of everything Sakurai built up through Super Smash Brothers. You know, I'll just stop the music right now, though that's appropriate Sakurai theme. So, Sakurai's probably coming back for the next Smash Brothers. So, whatever. What will they do for Ultimate? How can you go from having everything to not rebooting it? I mean, that is always an option. I don't think that's one they'll go for. But I can't really see them just doing Ultimate Plus, all the same, unless they literally reuse Ultimate's engine and all the work they did for Ultimate. I can't just see them having all the characters from that and then adding more on, or at least all the characters they can get back, barring third-party licensing and stuff. So I started thinking, not just what the next Smash Brothers is going to be, but what should Smash Brothers be going forward? Because so far, Smash Brothers originally was just an idea to have a fighting game, and then they thought, let's put Nintendo characters in it. And then Melee was the original Smash Brothers vision, but now they had more budget, less time, but more budget to make it happen. So that was a lot of that. And then Brawl was them essentially expanding it out to try and capture all of the all-stars that were missing from Nintendo, like Wario and King Dedede and Rob and Diddy Kong, stuff like that. Like, trying to get all of the missing Nintendo All-Stars of that time period. And then Smash 4 was just sort of a sequel. But Smash 4 has an interesting thing with its characters, where a lot of them are, kind of quite relevant to the time that Smash Brothers came out. You know, the project plan finished a week after Awakening, so they got Fire Emblem Awakening characters in it. Sakurai just came off Kid Icarus, so just had Kid Icarus. There was a Punch-Out game. There was the Mii's were really big. Super Mario Galaxy was the latest Mario game. The latest proper big 3D Mario game anyway. There was... Smash 4's quite relevant. And this got me thinking... Right, with Smash 4 in particular, it's quite a microcosm of the time it came out at. So what if that's what Smash Brothers decides it wants to do going forward? Because with Super Smash Brothers has been Sakurai has said directly that Super Smash Brothers in his mind is a celebration of Japanese video gaming industry. And part of that is because it's just easier for him to meet Japanese game developers, obviously. So it's just naturally become that. But I think there's also a sense in that Sakurai was making a game for the era of gaming he grew up in, which is why a lot of the legacy characters are from when he was a gamer back in the 80s. And he's sort of making a celebration of both the industry he grew up in and all of his peers. He's friends with Kamiya. He's friends with Harada. He might be friends with Kojima. They know that they've met and spoken and chatted and stuff. So, he's making a game for that. So there is a theme for Super Smash Brothers. So, what would they do? Is the next Smash Brothers just going to continue that? Maybe. But the idea I got then is, well, what if we twisted it a little bit? And thought, what if Smash Brothers was always not just Nintendo fighting game? Well, it will still keep it to mostly Nintendo. But what if Smash Brothers was more like a celebration of a console's generation? So, I know I've sort of rambled a bit here, but imagine that Super Smash Brothers comes out at the start of every system's life cycle. So let's say, in Melee, so it's the start of the GameCube, and Super Smash Brothers, the GameCube one, is a celebration of everything that existed on the Nintendo 64. Like, everything that was just come before it. And then the next Super Smash Brothers that comes out on the Wii is a celebration of everything that happened on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. And then Super Smash Bros. 4 is actually a celebration of everything on the Wii and the DS. And when I started thinking like that, because then it would be like, the next Super Smash Bros. Would be a celebration of the Switch generation of Nintendo. Like, when I started thinking about that, I thought it might be an interesting idea for a roster. What if we made rosters, but we could only include characters and content that were relevant to the prior generation? So, for example, and actually, I do want your guys' opinion on this just to start off with, because I've been umming and ahhing over what I should do. The first Smash 64 the roster is entirely made up of characters who were on the Super Nintendo. Right. That's the idea. What I want to know from you guys first is, do I also make it Game Boy? Should the first Smash Brothers roster be entirely characters from the Super Nintendo and Game Boy? That would mean that Melee would have to be entirely characters from the N64 and Game Boy Color. Because I'm just going to skip Virtual Boy in this. So entirely Game Boy Color. Or should Melee be characters who were on the 64 and Game Boy, and then Smash 64 just be Super Nintendo? Because there wasn't anything prior to that. Well, there was the Game & Watch, I suppose, and the NES. So we could say maybe Super Nintendo, NES, and Game & Watch. But let me know, first up, how you think I should do that, what I should do, because that will drastically change some of the choices that will go on this roster. Because we're going to work from the beginning again, because I quite like doing that. We're going to start with pretending it's the 1990s. We're going to do Smash 64's roster, then Melee's, then Brawl's, then Smash 4's, and so on. So, yes. Start off, should this first roster be just Super Nintendo, or Super Nintendo and NES? Or should it be Super Nintendo and Game Boy? And then the second roster will be N64 and Game Boy Color. Or should the second roster be all of Game Boy? Because technically Game Boy and Game Boy Color are the same device, they're just different iterations of it. And then, yeah. or should it be, yeah. You get the idea. So, right. Let me know what are people saying in the chat. As soon as I get a sort of general idea. Yes, it is. In reality, it is. Pokemon was on the Game Boy. It's in Smash 64. Because Smash 64 and Smash in general just does whatever's relevant at that time or whatever's important, or will sometimes do a legacy character. We're not going to do that. We're going to have the roster for Smash 64 be entirely made up of characters who are only ever on the Super Nintendo or Game Boy. That's what I want to know from you guys. Or do I hold off on Game Boy until we get to Melee? Because that will obviously, for example, if I hold off, then there won't be any Pokemon characters in Smash 64 because I can't use Game Boy. That's basically where the difference is going to make for this first one. So I think keep Game Boy and Color together. Are they releasing the same year? Oh, good question, actually. We may as well, because they're all super early into it, but we're still going to keep the rules, because Melee was early GameCube, Smash 4 was early Wii U and 3DS, Brawl was obviously kind of mid-Wii, but it was meant to be early Wii. It just got delayed because of Subspace. And Ultimate was early Switch. So it's really just Smash 64 that was in the back half of the life cycle of the system. But because it's the first one, we can just say it ignores everything in the 64. Just imagine that these games are coming out after the previous generation is done and isn't getting games anymore. That's basically it. So don't hold the Game Boy back. Pokemon wasn't it yet. You can keep Game Boy and Game Boy Color together. Come on, guys. When you say don't hold the Game Boy back, so you're saying do Game Boy for 64, is what you're saying, Medley. You know what? We'll do this. I forgot I can do this, can't I? If it will let me, yeah. Ah. Game Boy Color N64. You know what? For the people who don't like talking, I'll do it like. I'll just do that. Here's a very quick poll, I think. Alright, I'll put the music back on while I wait. Legendary Air Ride Machine, nice. I'm also going to be using the icons that I used last time. Let's see, Mario's up here. Oh, it's 50-50. Oh, 50-50. 50-50 down. Game Boy SNES is up front again. That's so close. Well, while I wait for you guys to sort of, I'll keep that poll running a little bit more. Let's do the characters who wouldn't be affected regardless of whether I do Game Boy with SNES, because yeah, Amir mentioned it earlier, but a lot of 64's roster will pretty much be 64's roster again. So Mario, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Super Nintendo, Kirby was obviously big on the Super Nintendo regardless. Where can I find? These are going to be in such a funky order. Earthbound Ness. Samus, there you are. Oh yeah. So actually, something else to mention, because we're doing Super Nintendo specifically here, right? Because it's Super Nintendo specifically, we're actually going to be having the. He's going to be down here somewhere. There we go. We're actually going to be having the A Link to the Past version of Link in here instead. Oh, I want to make sure I lock these. Hold on. I want to use the grid system. Magnet it. Where is that? Snap 2. Yeah, do I not have the... Maybe I need to turn the grid on first for it to snap. That might be it. Where's the blooming view button for the grid? I can't see because this is in the way. Give me a sec. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Oh, that grid's kind of funky looking. I wonder if I can... Yeah, I want the grid, but I don't want it to be that much. Hold on. I'm blanking on how to change grid size. Edit. Preferences. Guides, grids, there we go. Guides, grids and slices. Subdivision. No. There we go. Unless I want it to be 200. No, that's not right. 208. Oh, that's 2008. Okay, there we go. That's much better looking. Awesome. So what have we decided? All right, so it's leaning towards Game Boy and SNES. Are third-party characters any factor? Only Nintendo right now. So I guess that's the other thing. For this, I'm gonna keep it So I had two ideas in it, easy mode and hard mode. I'm going to do easy mode because I just don't know how long it's actually going to take me. If it's actually a lot faster than I'm expecting, maybe we'll also do a hard mode version. But I'm going to keep it to the same rules that Smash Brothers already has. So the same amount of third parties, the same amount of Echo Fighters or clones. Like, if there are specific reasons why certain characters, if they're fitting certain themes, then that will also play a factor into why they get in. I think the only rule I won't do is, like, make characters have to be, like, you know, characters who are based on other characters specifically, like how Jigglypuff got in. Just because, although that won't actually have an effect on this, it might do later, I'm not 100% sure. I'll play it, make it easier for myself. Anyway, so yeah, so we're doing Game Boy and SNES. So we got in these four in: Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Samus. Link is going to be based on his A Link to the Past version, because it's obviously that's the version of Link that is on the Super Nintendo. And the same thing goes for Fox, and the same thing also goes for Captain Falcon. We're getting funny SNES Lilac Wars Fox and SNES Captain Falcon in here. So the order goes, I think, Kirby, Yoshi, Fox, and then I'll chuck Captain Falcon over here, I'll chuck Ness over here, Luigi, obviously. It really is just going to be the Smash 64 roster, to be entirely honest, because with Game Boy and Super Nintendo, they were all really relevant to Game Boy and Super Nintendo. Where is Luigi? Why can I not see Luigi on here? There's Jigglypuff. It's called Mario Luigi, right? And then Pikachu. Because really, when you look at the roster for Smash 64, they really are just the characters who are all really big on the Super Nintendo and Game Boy. We got, you know, without explanation, you know why all of these characters are important and popular. I'm just going to make a new folder as well, and I'm going to call it Smash 64. Just going to keep this stuff organized, right? Cool. So there we go. Easy start to this because it's exactly the same. Let's drag all these up. Cool. Excellent. Now let's go on to Melee. So, as we sort of said before, I'm going to end the poll now. Melee is going to be just Nintendo characters who are important on the Nintendo 64 and characters who are important on the Game Boy Color. And this is really interesting because now, if we look at our Smash 64 roster, right, who is really notably not of the 64 and the Game Boy Color? Well, Ness didn't have a Nintendo 64 game or Game Boy game, so we're going to have to cut Ness for Melee. We're going to have to cut Ness out of her. And Samus also didn't have a Nintendo 64 game and didn't have a Game Boy Color game. She had a Game Boy game, not a Game Boy Color game. So we're going to have to cut Samus as well. So Samus and Ness are cut from Melee. They're not coming back. And then, naturally, as sort of mentioned, we're going to... characters like Link, Fox, and Captain Falcon will now all sort of upgrade themselves to their more well-known stuff. Well, so Link is now jumping Ocarina of Time Link, because that's now the main version of Link. So he's getting a booster. And then, where are you? Captain Falcon. Begone SNES Falcon, you are now out of date. And we're also, and Fox. Begone Foxy, you're also out of date. So these three all getting updated designs. Cool. So now, I guess, we got to say, who from Melee, I think the best way to go about this is who from Melee was still relevant for the Nintendo 64 and the Game Boy Color. So, Zelda was Ocarina of Time Zelda. She was relevant, and so it's going to be Ocarina of Time Zelda. I won't put her into place just yet. And then Falco. Falco is still relevant because of Star Fox 64. Mewtwo, still relevant. Mewtwo appeared in... Like, technically you could get Mewtwo in Gold, Silver, right? Like, through trade. Mewtwo's also, I think, the final boss of Pokemon Stadium. I believe is in Pokemon Stadium. Not in Pokemon Snap, though. But I'm pretty sure Mewtwo is still there for the 64, so we can keep that in. Peach and Bowser, obviously. You're not going to get... Oh, Peach hiding behind Kirby. Peach and Bowser are always going to be relevant. In fact, we'll add Peach and Bowser on to the bottom here first. Cool. I'm just going to sort out some of this. Let's move you guys all up to Melee. Cool, cool. And then we've got... So Pichu is still relevant because of Pokemon Gold and Silver. Like, this is prime Pichu time. Sheik is relevant because of Ocarina of Time as well. That's when Sheik debuted. Ganondorf as well debuted in Ocarina of Time. Thankfully, we've got this version of Ganondorf here. Well, see, Dr. Mario is an interesting one. Dr. Mario is another one I want to discuss with you guys. Because, yes, Dr. Mario did appear on the Nintendo 64. But Dr. Mario only appeared on the Nintendo 64 in Japan, right? So, the only reason Dr. Mario got in at all in Melee was because a fan asked for a Dr. Mario costume. Dr. Mario only appeared on the Nintendo 64 outside of Japan. Sorry, I think I said in Japan, but I meant the opposite. Outside of Japan in America. So, from Sakurai's perspective, doing Japan-only stuff, right? Would Sakurai view Dr. Mario as being on the Nintendo 64? Like, knowledge-wise, I'm sure he might know it's been made, but it never released in Japan. So, let's do another poll, quickly, while I'm putting everything else. Do I keep Dr. Mario or not? Because if I don't, then I have to find another clone character, basically. So, new poll running. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. While I continue to sort out this. So, another interesting one is Mr. Game & Watch. So the Game & Watch Gallery games were quite big on the on the Game Boy Color. And Mr. Game & Watch was a part of them. So Mr. Game & Watch is actually relevant around the time of Melee. So we can keep Mr. Game & Watch. You'd think he'd be, as a retro character, he would be one of the first to go, or wouldn't stand any sort of chance in this, but no, we're keeping him around. Okay, what else we got here? Who else was in Melee who we can keep? This might be it. So, oh, Young Link was also relevant. So, yeah, so when you think of it like this, you sort of realise, oh, there's no more, because I think the bigger mission here is obviously Fire Emblem, but there wasn't a Fire Emblem game on the Nintendo 64, and there wasn't a Fire Emblem game on the Game Boy Color either. So, Marth and Roy are gone. Marth and Roy are cut. Hi Quiznos. The challenge is that we can only have characters from specific generations, basically, the previous generation. So Melee can only have characters who appeared on the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color, which is not Marth and Roy. Not only did neither of them appear on those systems, but Fire Emblem in general didn't appear on the Nintendo 64. So we can't have them. So So Dr. Mario is the only one, which I see the poll is still going, so we'll hold on Dr. Mario. How many along have I made these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They're 11 along. 11, 22. So were there 24 characters, I think, in Melee? I think that's right. So if there are 24 characters in Melee, we need 4 characters here. 2 clones, 2 base characters, because we can't have Ness and Samus. We can't have... Oh, no, is there 25 characters, actually? Because we're missing Dr. Mario... Ness, Ice Climbers, because Ice Climbers can't come back because there's no Ice Climber game on either Game Boy Color and stuff, so Ice Climbers isn't getting added in. Golden Sun was not out yet. Golden Sun was on the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, I see Dr. Mario is also still thingy. So let's think of new characters now. So who can we add instead? Well, Sakurai said that if Melee got any new character added, if it could get a new character, that would have been Wario. And Wario was very relevant at this time because the Game Boy Color was full of Wario. Like Wario Land 2 and Wario Land 3 both debuted on both Game Boy Color games, and Wario was this was the time he was getting into all of the Mario spin-off games. So Wario, very relevant character that we can add. And then the other character I was thinking would bring in early is actually King Dedede in place of Ness. Because, while Sakurai's never brought up King Dedede, I find it really bizarre that King Dedede was, like, ever cut. You know, I'm gonna keep the spaces where we cut characters. I find it really bizarre that King Dedede was never mentioned for Melee because he was planned for Smash 64 and didn't make it. So one would assume that, like all the other characters who were planned for Smash 64 and then made it into Melee, King Dedede was also planned or considered, and Sakurai just never mentioned it in interviews before, so we don't have that. So yeah, no, I'm not going to do Banjo, although he would have been highly relevant on the Smash 64. And King Dedede was very relevant thanks to Kirby 64, right? He was one of the main characters of that. I don't think there's a Kirby Game Boy Color game. Maybe Tilt and Tumble, but I don't know if King Dedede is in that. But yeah, okay, Wario and King Dedede. So now we've got the Dr. Mario poll is still paused. It's still drawn. So now we've got the Ice Climber problem. Because Ice Climbers has gone, so who do we replace with Ice Climbers? Now, Ice Climbers were chosen specifically because Sakurai wanted some sort of retro pick, didn't he? And obviously we can't do that, but from all the retro pick options out there that Sakurai had, like, thrown out, like Ayumi and Balloon Fight and stuff, there is actually one who did get a Nintendo 64 game. Yeah, you've said it. Excitebike 64. We're getting the Excitebiker in here. He's gonna be our retro pick because Excitebike 64 exists, so we can get him in. So Excitebike, we're putting the ramps in. We're getting the ramps. Donkey Kong Land was on Classic Game Boy, but they did port Donkey Kong Country to the Game Boy Color for some reason. So yeah, so alright, so Excitebike. So we've now replaced Ness, we've now replaced Samus, we've now replaced Ice Climbers. We still haven't replaced, unfortunately, we still haven't replaced the Fire Emblem characters. And so I think... So Diddy and K. Rool could qualify, but I'm not going to do either of them. Because we've got a different choice, right? Because whoever we add as a new character here, that to replace the Fire Emblem characters, has an additional challenge that Marth got a clone, right? So with Marth getting a clone, whoever we add also needs to have the capabilities to have a clone character in order to fit the same sort of rules going forward. Which I guess Diddy could have with Dixie Kong, to be fair, but we're still not going to do that. Especially because Dixie Kong isn't relevant to this. Like, Diddy Kong is relevant thanks to Donkey Kong 64 and Donkey Kong Country, but Dixie Kong didn't show up on the Game Boy Color or Nintendo 64 because Tiny Kong took her place. No, they don't have to fit the archetype like a duo fighter. No. So, there are two choices I think we could have to replace Fire Emblem, right? I think we can either do a character from Sin and Punishment, because that was big. That was a big Nintendo 64 game, or a character from Custom Robo. Because those are two big 64 IP that were also both Japan exclusive, just like Fire Emblem at the time, who both have two characters we can add. Because you got Ray, and then you can have any of the robots. To be honest, you can make a clone of Ray, or you can have Saki and then make Iron his clone, because they also fight the same. You're right, actually. Donkey Kong Land 3 was Game Boy Color exclusive in Japan. My mistake. I did forget about that. So, I'm thinking it's between Saki and Ray from Custom Robo. Now, my heart says Saki. My bias heart, because I love Sin and Punishment. But Custom Robo also got a trophy in Melee, which Sin and Punishment didn't, which I find really weird looking back on it. Why didn't Sin and Punishment get a trophy in Melee? They had the models there. Everything else that was relevant at the time, like Doshin the Giant and Tom Nook, like Animal Crossing, Cubivore, they all got trophies. Well, we can't do both. We can't do both Custom Robo and Sin and Punishment because we only have two spaces. One for an original character and then one for a clone character. So we have to do one or the other. So it looks like keeping Dr. Mario as one out. So I will bring Dr. Mario onto the roster. Dr. Mario 64 will count for this. Where's Dr. Mario on this big list I've got? I'm going to make this list easier to read. Where's there? There we go. Yeah, let me see more layers on her. Wish I could search through layers. It'd make life much easier. There he is. Baba Booey. Dr. Mario, congratulations. Let's move you guys to the side. Oh, nope, didn't do that. Nah. Cool. So, by the way, what's the intro song you used for your retrospective series? It's from Pilot Wings. So yeah, so I'm leaning towards doing Saki purely from a bias POV. Yeah, hang glider theme from Pilot Wings Resort. So let's chuck Saki into here. Although I actually don't have an icon for Iron, which is a bit annoying. So I think what I'll do. So we're gonna put in Saki here. You're the new Fire Emblem character. Congratulations. Do I have like a blank slot I can use? Like a generic slot. You know what? Let's clone Saki. Let's clone Saki's slot. Duplicate layer. Do that, and then yep. She's there. Do that. Where are you? There you go. Come on, go up. I don't know why she's like semi-transparent. That's weird. Where's the? There we go. There we go. That'll do. Yeah, Saki, big Saki for the agenda. You got it. You understand us. All right, cool. So there we go. There's our. I think that's everyone. So there's our melee roster. We had to cut Samus and Ness. We couldn't get Ice Climbers couldn't arrive back. We had to cut. We couldn't have Marth and Roy. So this is what melee looks like in this timeline. No, the theme Subarashi is relevant. Also, well, I'll explain it using Brawl now because we're going to jump over to Brawl. So with Brawl, we can only have characters who appeared on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. So if and I'm not. This is a good time to bring it up. I'm not going to count stuff like Virtual Console as them being on the system because that would just sort of break this apart. So Virtual Console and its equivalent like NES Classics on the Game Boy Advance or the e-reader like retro cards, I'm not going to count anything like that. They've got to be a new game. I'm also not going to count stuff like Master Quest, like the Ocarina of Time Master Quest disc. Technically, you know, it's a GameCube game, but it was like a special pack-in title that came with Wind Waker. I'm not going to count it. But I will count stuff like Super Mario Advance, the Advance games. Those are all fine. The Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Advance games, because they're like new versions of previous games. They're like remakes. So I'll count them. Right. So yes. So what can we do for Brawl, starting with this roster? Well, first off, let's look at the Zelda characters, because we need to update their designs once again. So Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf are all jumping up to be Brawl designed instead. Twilight Princess designed instead, because Twilight Princess, I know most people played it on the Wii, but it's a GameCube game. It's a GameCube game. So Ocarina of Time, Link, you go away. We're now doing this. Zelda, you go away. We're doing this. Ganondorf, you're going away because we're doing this. And the thing is, in reality, they made a Twilight Princess design for Sheik, but we're not gonna do that. Sheik wasn't in Twilight Princess. Sheik didn't appear on the GameCube, so Sheik is gone. We're cutting Sheik. Sheik is out of here. So who else wasn't relevant on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance? Young Link, you're also gone. Mr. Game & Watch. Well, I guess we did have Game & Watch Gallery 4. So I guess we can keep Mr. Game & Watch. And Dr. Mario was also on here. But I might cut characters who were cut anyway. Well, you know, we'll put characters who were cut from Brawl originally into a weird sort of limbo state down here. Because they were cut from Brawl due to time constraints, and I kind of want to keep that in mind. But we could always add them back in, and I guess it would also... Well, we just had the agenda to get Saki and Iron in, but neither of them are relevant anymore. So we're cutting both of them anyway. And then... Actually, I don't like that I've moved them, so... You know, what I'll do is I'll make them invisible instead. Because I just realised that'll mess up where they made their debut. Cool. And Excitebike also didn't have a Game Boy Advance or GameCube game, so Excitebike is also being cut. No, the Excite series has been super relevant and was getting very frequent games, but this is the one generation it skipped. It is a good opportunity for the Pichu into Pramai swap. You are very correct on that, but I might not do it because I might do someone else instead. But first, these are all the characters who were were relevant on the GameCube, relevant on the Game Boy Advance still. King Dedede almost wasn't relevant, actually, thinking about it. Like, what, Nightmare in Dreamland? Because Kirby was in a really weird place on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance. I guess Kirby Air Riders, which is a Sakura game, so that's fine. He just about makes it. What else? Yeah, so who else can we add then who made their debut in Brawl? Alright, so who made their debut in Brawl that we can now chuck into here? Because we can't do Pit. Pit's not relevant, so Pit won't make this. But Diddy Kong is. Diddy Kong is relevant. So Diddy Kong gets to make it in. I think I had Iron like around there. Meta Knight's more relevant than King Dedede at this point because it's important to the Amazing Mirror, so he gets to make it in. So Rob's not relevant, unfortunately. I think there's a cameo of Rob in F-Zero GX, but he wasn't playable or wasn't really around at all. Mario Kart DS was sort of when he came back. So Rob doesn't make it. Pikmin and Olimar is relevant. Where there you are. Oh god, they're all going to be like down here. Olimar's relevant. Lucas is relevant because Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance. So Lucas gets to... So after missing Earthbound, missed a game, Lucas gets to come back. Toon Link, obviously relevant because of Wind Waker. Oh yeah, of course. We need to bring Samus back. We cut Samus because she wasn't relevant, but she is now. Thanks to Metroid Prime, thanks to the Game Boy Advance games, Samus is back. Hooray. And with her comes Zero Suit Samus. Because she's also very relevant now. So that's twofer. They're both in. And then no, that's the Ruby and Sapphire Pokemon trainer. We don't want that. Well, we will want a Ruby and Sapphire character, but not that one. We want the regular Pokemon trainer. Ike's relevant though. We get to have Fire Emblem characters thanks to Ike. You could indeed say Samus returns. That's right. And then who else? So yeah, so third parties. Funnily enough, both Snake and Sonic are actually fine because we got Twin Snakes on the GameCube, and Sonic. Well, the GameCube was when Sonic made his jump to Nintendo systems. So actually, both Snake and Sonic are actually just fine. They're perfectly timed for this. So they get to make it in. And Wolf as well. Wolf is also relevant as well at this point. So let's bump these up. I'm just going to move these into the bracket for Brawl that I had set up. Cool, great. I need Pokemon Trainer though. I'm surprised I didn't have Pokemon Trainer downloaded, so give me a second. Because Pokemon Trainer, because Fire Red and Leaf Green, is relevant. So we get to have the full Pokemon Trainer with all of Buddy's Pokemon. Charizard, Squirtle, Ivysaur, they're all in. I'll just use the one Pokemon Trainer icon for this, I think. That'll be easiest. Cool, there we go. Cool. So, we may as well start with Pokemon, right? Because Lucario, who was the other Pokemon newcomer, can't get in. Because Lucario wasn't around yet. It was DS. It was Poke Diamond and Pearl. I know Lucario sort of gets mentioned in Mystery Dungeon, which was on the Game Boy Advance, but I don't think he appears in it. I think it's just a statue. We're not going to count that. So we got to think of a Ruby and Sapphire character, Pokemon, to fill that in, because that feels like the obvious choice, right? We want to represent the new one. So Pramai got mentioned previously. And Prom-I is a good choice, but Prom-I is also, like, kind of just a clone of Pichu. Like, that was their intention. I don't think that's super new. Hoenn Trainer, well, we already have Pokemon Trainer, so I think we should keep it as a single Pokemon. So Blaziken is the choice I'm leaning towards. Like, if I think of characters that, from Pokemon, that Sakurai leans towards, it tends to be the Pokemon that they, either Nintendo themselves have really hyped up through the anime or something, like Lucario got a whole movie for himself, or it's like the starter Pokemon. Blaziken is both the most popular. Well, it's Grovar for Mystery Dungeon, but the Mystery Dungeon game that Grovar was popular in is not out yet, because that's a DS-only Mystery Dungeon game. Gardevoir is the long-term standout from that gen, but at the time, I'd say she was still popular, but not quite Blaziken's level of popularity, or Blaziken's level of popularity. So I'm leaning towards Blaziken. Also, as a fighting type, also sort of fits with what Lucario was already doing, right? So I'm gonna put in Blaziken. You're in. As much as I'd actually prefer Sceptile personally, I think Blaziken's probably more likely. So, who else can we add? Fire Emblem also had 2, because it had Marth and Ike. But we still can't do Marth, because Marth is not relevant. But Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance is. Marth is obviously the first protagonist of Fire Emblem. Why don't we do the first protagonist of Western Fire Emblem, which would be everyone's favourite Lyn. So Lyn gets to be in. So Lyn and Ike are the 2 Fire Emblem characters we're going for on this one. So that's super cool. So who are we missing from here? So who is missing? It's going to be super annoying to sort them out. I need to bring up the Brawl roster on my side. Brawl roster. Because we have replaced, currently, we've replaced Marth with Lyn. We've replaced Lucario with Blaziken. So there's a space where Ness goes, a space where Pit goes, a space where Ice Climbers go, a space where Rob goes. And I think that's it. So we've got 4 spots that we can fill up with characters. One of those characters, I guess, is sort of a semi-clone with Ness. But the other 3 spots, Ice Climbers, Pit, and Rob, all get to be rather unique. So, oh, and Sheik, because I cut Sheik, but she's still technically a character. So I think I'll give us a bonus character here, so that we can have 5. So we've got to replace Ness, who needs to be a character similar to another character on the roster, and then we need to replace Pit, Ice Climbers, Rob, and Sheik as well. So yeah, so if we look at thingy, yeah, I think it'd be too difficult to replace Sheik with a character who also transforms, right? Not unless we did we added Toon Zelda and then did Tetra as well. I think that might start being too complicated. I'm not gonna count Mother 1+2 in the same way that I'm not gonna count any of the NES classics. I actually forgot about Mother 1+2, to be honest. I'm going to remove the Dr. Mario one. Do we want? Yeah. So Crystal is a very big choice for this. Let me take a look at the cut characters for Smash Brothers document. I should have had it up, really. Because it'd be interesting to see which unused content. So someone brought up Dixie Kong, and I think we could have Dixie Kong as our NES one. Because Dixie Kong was as our NES, replacement. No, didn't mean NES. Because Dixie Kong was also planned for Brawl, was going to be connected to Diddy Kong, and was cut. So we could have Dixie Kong, I think, as a sort of associated with Diddy Kong NES-fied version of it. The other option, of course, is that we bring back one of the cut melee characters as well on this. We could bring back Mewtwo, we could bring back Pichu, we could bring back Dr. Mario. If we bring back Pichu, I'd consider replacing it with Plusle and Minun instead. Could bring back... we can't bring back Roy. There is no Roy. Roy doesn't exist. Dixie's a Sheik replacement. Ah! I like your thinking, Ozzy. I think that pretty much settles Dixie Kong's place in it for me. Yeah, bring back Dixie Kong. Bring back the swapping thing. Where is my Dixie Kong icon? I know I've got one somewhere. Wish I could, like, just search through layers instead. Here we go. Congratulations, Dixie. You've made it. You've made it onto the roster. Of course, that's one of them. That's our Sheik replacement done. So, other characters. So they considered. We had to cultivate before. Yeah. So Crystal was brought up specifically in relation to Wolf. Doesn't sound like Crystal was sort of considered for the roster. Like, yeah, she's only ever brought up in consideration with Wolf. Villager, Fire Emblem, Pac-Man, Mies, all of them were cut for random things. Ridley being told pretty much impossible. Yeah, so I don't think any of the actual considered characters we could do. He did want to add Geno, but he said it couldn't become a reality, and we don't know why it couldn't become a reality. I'm going to assume it's licensing, so we're not going to add Geno in now. So I guess for us, Crystal is, from these cut characters, Crystal is the closest to being considered, and we'd have to consider whether or not Crystal was high enough. She is relevant, obviously. Is she high enough up the importance chain for this generation to have been considered? Because when you think about this, like, Crystal would have been chosen first, and then Wolf would have come later, right? Yeah, Dixie Kong was in DK King of the Swings, which is a Game Boy Advance game. She's also in the Donkey Kong Country remakes, but Dixie was in King of the Swing, which is valid enough. Barrel Blast was on the Wii, so it doesn't count in this. So, if we could add Crystal, if we add Crystal, do we also keep Wolf, or do we actually replace Wolf? Because, like, I guess it depends whether we think adding Crystal would be too many Star Fox characters. Or not. I tell you a character I will add, though, because I think this is their time, and I think they fit pretty nicely into the slot that Pitt held. Isaac. The Golden Sun was obviously really important on the Game Boy Advance era, wasn't it? So, we can get Isaac in there. That's fine. That works. Maybe leave Crystal for later. Well, I mean, can we leave Crystal for later? When is Crystal relevant other than now on the GameCube? Right? Like, what, Command is her only other game, which is on the DS. And is Command an important enough game for this era? Like, I don't think so. I don't think Star Fox Command is driving the Nintendo DS. Here's another idea. What is the best-selling Game Boy Advance games, and what are the best-selling game? No, that doesn't. Best-selling doesn't necessarily mean it held the zeitgeist, but we might get some information from that. So the best-selling GameCube games are obviously all Zelda, blah blah blah, Animal Crossing, which we've got reason, Mario. Star Fox Adventure is the 13th best-selling GameCube game of all time, apparently. Putting that out there. On the Game Boy Advance, or yeah, Mario, Zelda, Wario Land, Kirby, Donkey Kong, and then Golden Sun is also up there. I'm leaning towards putting Crystal in here. I'd almost be willing to cut Wolf instead, and replace Wolf with a different clone character. Oh, right, later is in after a couple other considerations, right. Given how high up Star Fox Adventures is on, like, the sales-wise, how much it's remembered for the GameCube, I think Crystal deserves a spot here. I don't remember where Crystal is on my list. Here she is. I think we can get Crystal in. So I guess it's a question of, do we cut Wolf and maybe bring him back in a later game, as suggested in the chat, as suggested by Quiz, or are we happy with 4 Star Fox characters? Are we happy with 4 Star Fox characters? I'll let you all give your opinions now while I look at what else was big at this time. There's nothing really else on the Kirby Air Ride. Donkey Kong. Yeah, and all like in these best-selling lists, for all the million sellers for the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, we have kind of hit them all. We have kind of smacked them all over. Yeah, okay. And there's nothing else in there. Oh. I think the time period warrants Star Fox spam. Yeah, Nintendo views Adventure's importance, Fox. Oh, fun fact, actually, given that Marco brought it up, this is a really random aside, but it's a realization I had. People always thought it was really funny how the Star Fox Direct said, you know, Star Wings, Star Fox 64, Star Fox Adventures, and then just immediately skipped to like 0 and ignored Assault. And everyone was like, why did it ignore Assault? Well, it ignored Assault because for some reason Nintendo can't show footage of Assault without Bandai Namco's, like, approval. For some reason. That's why if you followed Nintendo today, that when they've been doing those, you know, games of the day, when they did Star Fox Adventure, they had the box and they had the footage and they had music and everything. But when they did Star Fox Assault, they had the box but no footage. No footage. Which would imply that Nintendo has to jump through some sort of hoops to get Star Fox Assault footage. Command hasn't come up yet on the Nintendo today, so we'll see what happens there, because they also skipped Command. Did they not even acknowledge 0? Did I just make that up? Never mind then. Right, so Sheik, placed Pit, placed Ice Climbers. We need someone to replace Ness, we need somebody to replace Rob. So we need 2 more. I'm seeing Toad as an option. Sammy from Advance Wars. I think Advance Wars was pretty... Well, it was big in America. It wasn't as big in Japan. But I think this was pretty significant time for Advance Wars. So we could do Sammy. We could do Sammy. That's fine. We could do Starfy as well, or we could do Starfy, or we could do Custom Robo, because Custom Robo was also big in this era, right? There was Custom Robo on the Game Boy Advance, there was Custom Robo on the GameCube. That was Custom Robo's big appearance over in the West. Yeah, that's true. Metroid was a series that was at its peak at this time. We did get Samus and Zero Suit Samus, but we could also add Dark Samus in as a NES like. Yeah, I think that fits actually, because yeah, if Dixie Kong is like sort of taking the Sheik place, and then I did say that we'd want one of the characters would need to be similar in the same way Ness and Lucas are similar but they're different. Dark Samus fits that. Yeah, sure, let's bring Dark Samus in early. We'll make up for Samus skipping a game by just flooding this roster with Samuses. Alright, there we go. Oh, Dark Samus is right here, perfect. Okay, right, I think this is the I think this is the roster for Brawl. I don't think we have any spots left, Quiz. I think this is it. This is our new Brawl roster. Replacing Lucario, replacing Marth, replacing Sheik, replacing Pit, replacing Ice Climbers, replacing Ness. Who was Crystal replacing? Shit. Who's missing from here? Replacing Lucario, replacing Marth, replacing Sheik, replacing Pit, replacing Ice Climbers, replacing Rob. That's who we're replacing. There we go. Replacing this. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so this is it. Yeah, this is every character. Yeah, Rob wasn't on the GameCube and wasn't on the Game Boy Advance, at least as far as I'm aware. So there is no Rob. Rob didn't make it, I'm afraid. Cool. So here's our Brawl. Here's our Brawl roster. Got good old Sonic music. Cool. Smash 4. I just did it in all caps. Fine. All right. So now we're getting interesting. Now it's only characters are on the Wii and the DS. So let's start with our usual. Oh, actually no. Well, here's a question. Right? Twilight Princess was on the Wii. So do we keep Twilight Princess, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf, or do we move on to Skyward Sword? If we move on to Skyward Sword, that would require us cutting Ganondorf, because the only game on the Wii that Ganondorf was in was Twilight Princess. But if we move on to Skyward Sword, we can replace Link and Zelda with their Skyward Sword counterparts, and then we can look to Skyward Sword for another character. So yeah, so keep Twilight Princess for Link's crossbow training. True. Although Ganondorf wasn't in Link's crossbow training, so it still gives us the same thing. Well, they can't mix them. Well, that's what I want to ask you guys about, because I guess technically, because the game was made for GameCube first, but technically I think the Wii version of Twilight Princess released first, so it really is like a question of, do we jump forward to Skyward Sword, or do we keep this, because Twilight Princess technically released on the Wii first, but we're counting it as GameCube for this because it was a GameCube game originally. But do we count it as both? We'll have the same problem we'll have less of a problem when we get to Breath of the Wild. Because Tears of the Kingdom exists. I think doing Skyward Sword is also more interesting. Which is exactly why I already went ahead and I got the icons for Link and Zelda Skyward Sword prepared. So I think it's more interesting to do this. We're moving on from Twilight Princess. We're cutting them, and that means Ganondorf is gone. Pour one out for old Ganny. He's gonzos. Yeah, okay, so who else didn't have a game on the Wii and the DS? Here. This is really when Kirby made their grand comeback, was the Wii and DS. Yoshi as well. Yoshi was very lucky on the last roster when you think about it. Like, Yoshi was around with like Mario spin-off games and Sunshine, but actual new Yoshi games, I don't think there was one on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance. So you got Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, and so through technicality Yoshi gets in. Yeah, Star Fox only had Command. Technically all 4 of these characters appear in Command. Though. Pikachu is obviously also around, Luigi's still around, that's fine. Captain Falcon though, there is no F-Zero game on the DS. Oh, you're right, I did forget about Universal Gravitation. My mistake. I'm a fool. Captain Falcon though, there is no F-Zero game on the Wii or DS. Farewell, Captain, my Captain. So Captain Falcon is gone. Game & Watch So Game & Watch is an interesting one, because there was a Game & Watch collection as a Club Nintendo exclusive for the DS. Does that count to keep Game & Watch around? Or does that count like an NES Classic type deal, where I said we wouldn't consider NES Classic? So... So do we keep Game & Watch? It doesn't have the importance of Gallery, no. But it is still like Game & Watch games on the DS, so we could still keep him. Diddy Kong, yeah, Barrel Blast, that's fine, and Donkey Kong Country Returns. Olimar, ooh. So Olimar. So Olimar's another interesting one, because there wasn't a unique Pikmin game on the Wii or DS either, was there? There was the new Play Control versions of Pikmin 1 and 2, but that's it. So do we keep Olimar? Like we see, this is it. We've already said that we were keeping the advanced games, but equally we were also not counting Twilight Princess Wii, because it was on GameCube it was made for GameCube. Lucas can be gone, though. We can get rid of Lucas. That's it. Earthbound is done. There's no more Earthbound games. Earthbound is gone. Yeah, but yeah, new Play Control don't count because they're ports. I mean, if that's true, if that's what we agree, then Olimar goes. We lose Olimar. I mean, technically, Other M has Zero Suit Samus a lot in it, so we could keep Zero Suit Samus. Or we could lose Zero Suit Samus. Ike gets bumped up to Radiant Dawn Ike. Do I have a thing for Radiant Dawn Ike somewhere? I can get one if I don't. Yes, I do. Perfect. So Ike's getting his growth spurt, as he does. So you get to go. Where are you? Fire Emblem Ike. You're in Smash 4. Cool. Snake, though? No Snake on the game. No Metal Gear Solid games on the Wii and DS. Snake is gone. Sonic is fine, though. There's plenty of Sonic games on there. Pokemon Trainer, though. Technically, for this version of Pokemon Trainer, there's nothing on the Wii and DS. So you're also gone. But we're also going to stick with the rules set out as well by Smash 4 3DS. In that we're splitting up all of the characters who are together and all that. Which means Charizard gets to just come in now on his own. Charizard gets to be here. Blaziken, I mean, technically, yeah, you can get him on the DS Pokemon games. Lyn, though, Lyn's gone. Lyn's out of here. We're cutting Lyn. Isaac, ooh. So there was a Golden Sun game on the DS, but Isaac is older in that game. It's a different version of Isaac. So, do we do an Ike and make Isaac older? But they're like very different. You couldn't really skin them over. Or, what would probably be more likely in this scenario is that we replace Isaac with Matthew, because he was the protagonist at this time. I think if they were to do that, that's probably what they would do. Knowing me, I probably do have a Matthew icon somewhere as well. Yep, there he is. So we're gonna cut Isaac, but we're just gonna replace him with Matthew in the same vein. I might count that as a separate character, because it is a separate character. Crystal through Command. Advance Wars Dual Strike is a thing, and Dark Samus was Prime 3, so they get to stay. So we need to decide, are we keeping Game & Watch, are we keeping Olimar? Finale of Other M is playable Zero Suit Samus. That's true, that's true. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, that's true. Red is in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. But, as I said, we're still going to do the whole got to cut everyone up because of technical limitations of the 3DS. So, with that in mind, we're going to have them cut to Charizard anyway. Yum, yum, yum. So what were we saying? And then Pokemon thing in Black and White 2. Let's say Mega Man, Players Rock. The Sin and Punishment. There was Sin and Punishment game on the Wii. I'll bring that up in a sec. Almost says, do we have to keep characters from the same series when it comes to bringing in Palutena and Dark Pit replacements? Ooh, good question. Well, we'll come to that in the next game. No, it won't need to be that thing. So we saying cut. I'm getting mixed things. You know what? I'm gonna do another poll. I think that's the easiest way. I think I will cut Game and Watch. But I'm gonna let you guys decide if we cut Olimar. So here's a new poll. So Game & Watch, I'm not going to count the DS Game & Watch collection. So Game & Watch is gone. I need to bring up the Smash 4 roster as well. But yeah, alright, who on Smash 4 do we get to bring back who's not here yet? So, going through them, let's go through them bit by bit. So Villager, Villager gets to come back. So Villager gets to debut as normal because there was an Animal Crossing game on the Wii and DS. There was one on both. Pac-Man. So Pac-Man's an interesting one actually. I'll come back to Pac-Man. Rosalina, Mario Galaxy. So that still happens. So Rosalina gets to stay. The Mii's are obviously still relevant. The Mii fighters get to stay. Xenoblade, Wii game. Music is very relevant right now. So Xenoblade gets to stay. Yeah, the Koopalings and Bowser Jr. as well, just in general. Wherever Bowser Jr. is on here. I think I've got a weird icon for Bowser Jr., so I'll probably just grab the default one if I have it. I don't know if I have it. Yeah, I do. Here we go, Bowser Jr. So Bowser Jr. is still relevant. Who else in Smash 4 have we got? I'll do DLC separately. Just FYI. Wii Fit Trainer is still very relevant. So I'm just gonna organise these to make them easier to find later. Cool. And then we've also got Little Mac. Little Mac is... I think he's like up here somewhere. Yeah, he's here. Little Mac, there was a Wii game for Punch-Out. So Little Mac gets to be relevant. Shulk, Mac Villager. Rosalina. Wii Fit's only time to shine. That's correct. Oh yeah, let's move the Skyward Sword lots up here. And then Melee. Oh yeah, Charizard, I'll move you up here. Dixie Kong, I think we said you were in Brawl, I don't know, I forgot to move you up. Okay, anyone else on this list of mine? So Rob, yes, that's right. Okay, where to even start on this? Let's bring up the Smash 4 roster very quickly. That's Ultimate, not Smash 4. I just need an image of Smash for Wii U's roster. God darn it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right, so we got... Oh, where's it? I'm gonna get a notepad out. Oh yeah, speaking of notepads, look what I got. I have a real one of these. So if I ever disappear, I'm lost in this book. Super cute. So we've got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, Rosalina, Bowser Jr., Wario, Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong. So we need a replacement for Game & Watch. We've got Little Mac, Link, Zelda. We'll need a replacement for Sheik. Well, that's Dixie Kong. So that's fine. We need a replacement for Ganondorf. We'll need a replacement for Pit, Palutena. We'll need a we'll need a replacement for Lyn, but I think we're gonna have that in a sec. We can't have Robin because Fire Emblem Awakening isn't a DS and Wii game, so Robin won't be around. Duck Hunt as well. We can't have Duck Hunt. Yeah, we replaced Pokemon Trainer with Charizard already. That's fine. Mario. We'll need to replace Greninja because we can't do Pokemon Sun and Moon. So we did replace Rob with Sammy. Replace Ness. We need to replace Captain Falcon. But forgetting who we replaced Ness with now on here. Originally, I think we replaced Ness with Wario. I think. God. Should have been keeping track of this a lot earlier. I goofed up. Mario. The Dark Pit we can't have. Lucina we can't have. Okay, right. I think I've got an idea. Right. So yes. Okay. So. Place that with Twilight Dark Samus. So funny. Yes. Right. Okay. So let's go through this. So yes, we can actually, as it's been mentioned plenty of times now, we can bring Marth back. Marth, because of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragons being the DS's Fire Emblem game, Marth actually gets to debut finally. So where is Marth on my list? Here he is, Fire Emblem Marth. Hiding behind Luigi. There you are. Congratulations, Marth. It only took you 4 Smash Brothers games, but you made it. So Marth is here. Who else is back? So yeah, so as well, Lucario can now join in because now we've got the newest Smash Brothers games are going to be the DS ones, which will be Black and White and Diamond and Pearl. So technically Black and White is newer. So we can get we can bring Lucario in. Hold on a sec. I guess it's another interesting question now, right? Do we bring Lucario in? Because he was obviously in Smash Brothers, but Black and White is the latest Pokemon game. So do we actually skip Diamond and Pearl entirely? and just do black and white. In which case, it'd be like Zoroark, right? I think that's the only choice. So in this scenario, I guess Lucario does not come back. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon was also big, so we have 2 on there. Also, because we were cutting characters who got cut as well normally, we're just going to cut Wolf. Because Wolf was originally cut in Smash 4, so Wolf's just cut even though he was relevant. God, I kind of wish I'd remembered who would replace 2 now in this roster. Whoopsie. Oh well. Oh well. So yeah, because because Lucario sticks around, so we keep Blaziken, and Charizard becomes that. So yeah, so I guess it's a question of, do we get 2 Pokemon characters, 2 new Pokemon characters in Lucario and Zoroark, or do we just get 1 Pokemon character? That's the $1 million question. DLC is interesting. I haven't quite considered how to do DLC yet. Could do it that way. Zoroark DLC. Sounds like we want to keep Lucario in. So I'll do it. Let's do it. Let's bring Lucario in for the first time. Where are you, Lucario? There you are. New character Lucario gets to make it in. Smash. Remind me how many characters you had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. 48 characters in Smash 4. So I'm just going to remind that. And we're currently on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 39. I just realised that the thing I was looking at did not have Mii Fighters unlocked for some stupid reason, so it's 39, 49. Okay. Let's do Mega Man and Pac-Man. So, Mega Man, argument for here, is that the Wii was when Mega Man 9 came back. The Wii is very specifically when classic Mega Man made its grand return. So I think Mega Man is perfectly valid for this era. Alright, yeah, WiiWare was when Mega Man 9 appeared. So Mega Man is fine. And with Pac-Man, I'm sure there was a Pac-Man game on the Wii. I mean, for starters. But also, if we branch out of Nintendo, it's also this generation with the Xbox 360 where Pac-Man Championship Edition came out and was like super popular and flung Pac-Man back into relevancy. So yeah, we get to have... I think Pac-Man is also fine for this and can come back. So I don't know where I've put Pac-Man on my list, but he's somewhere. Oh, there he is. Perfect. Just found him. Found him as I was working through. So I think both Pac-Man and Mega Man are fine. This is 41. And also, just remembered, from the cut characters, Dr. Mario comes back this game, doesn't he? So we can bring Dr. Mario back. Look at that. There we go. Perfect. Dr. Mario comes back because Dr. Mario is also this. There was the WiiWare version game, Dr. Mario game. So Dr. Mario was also still quite relevant at this time. So that brings us to 42. So we have 7 characters who we can use to replace. And let's going down this list, we should definitely get another Zelda character in here. So we've gone for Skyward Sword. So I think the only two choices really, well, there are three choices, I guess. We can either do Impa, we can either do Girahim, or we can do Demise. Demise will be the most like Ganondorf. Almost essentially replacing Ganondorf with Demise. But we don't have to do that. We can always just have Girahim or Impa. Impa, again, would kind of be like replacing Sheik, who's been cut since Melee, who was cut in the last game. So it'd be like bringing Sheik back, but as Impa. And then Girahim would be entirely new. So Girahim was the main antagonist. Like, Demise is the final boss, but I would say that Girahim is the main antagonist of Skyward Sword. So I think Girahim also feels like the coolest option. But we have the options to do the Demise as well. Where is Girahim? I think we're going to go do Girahim, I think. Girahim, where are you? There you are. So Girahim is in as a new thingy choice. Cool. So it was brought up that what do we do about Kid Icarus? Because we haven't had Pit yet, and Smash 4 obviously added both Palutena and then a clone of Pit. So we got a couple choices here we can do. Because we've had Sin and Punishment in the past, we could repeat that and bring a Sin and Punishment character back in like the form of not Saki or Iron, but like Issa or Sachi, one of those two. So that is the agenda, right? We could bring back Sin and Punishment especially because it already had a presence on the roster in the past. It has that Smash status now that makes it stand out about the others. Matthew Golden Sun has been our Kid Icarus stand-in so far, but equally, I don't really know who you would add from Golden Sun Dark Dawn at this point, right? Like, we added Matthew in, who's replaced Isaac, who replaced Pit, but there's no clone. We can't do a clone of Matthew, like with the Pit Dark Pit. That doesn't work. So who else do we add from Golden Sun? I feel like it would be kind of a bit boring, in my humble opinion. But I have my biases, so I think we will do. Bro, what? Bring Isaac back, but he's got a new moveset now. Dad moveset. I'm going to say no to third-party clones. Well, actually, no. I suppose we could do third-party clones. We need to come up with two clones because we need to replace Lucina, and we need to replace Dark Pit. And because Pit's not in the game, and I know Marth just got added, but Marth doesn't actually have a proper clone at this point because the only other game was Radiant Dawn. Unless we were to do like Chris. I'm not doing Chris Fire Emblem. He's doesn't even fight like Marth. So yeah. Yeah, well, Felix isn't in Dark Dawn, so we can't do Felix. Yeah, I think getting funny with the DS and Wii's library is a good move. So I'm gonna add Party Phil, because the Wii Party such a powerhouse. So I'm gonna add Party Phil. Let's get Issa. Do I want Issa or do I want... If I'm doing my personal bias, I would much rather have Sachi here than Issa. if I was being pure bias, but apparently no one's made an icon for Sachi, so I might just have to go Issa. Although they're giving Issa the Echo Fighter label. I don't want that. I don't want Issa to have the Echo Fighter label. Because Issa and Sachi don't fight like each other. Unless we were to do the same... No, because they're not quite... They're not quite the same, are they? Hold on. For starters, I'm going to add Issa, but I don't like that he's got the Echo Fighter thing on him, on this icon. Nothing I can do about that. But then I'm also going to find a picture of Sachi Sin and Punishment. Because I would much rather have her. Issa feels like just doing Saki again. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm gonna give my girl some love. There we go. Do the same shenanigans. Create clip and mask. There we go. There we go. Oh god, Samurai Warriors 3. Oh no. Samurai Warriors 3 and Captain Rainbow. Oh god. Oh god. It's tempting. I don't know if I can do it, even though the agenda is strong. But oh, this would be a time. No, we decide. Oh, you know what? You're right. I need to cut Olimar. He won. Olimar's gone. Bye bye. So, bye bye, Olimar. Oh, Captain Rainbow. Captain Rainbow could be a funny one. Chibi Robo was on the DS, had 2 DS games, so Chibi Robo is also an option. Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven was big on the Wii and DS. Big, relatively. I think we could do a Rhythm Heaven character. I think Rhythm Heaven is fun, actually. I like that. We don't know why Rhythm Heaven didn't make it into Smash 4, but we know it was considered. So, I think Rhythm Heaven works out here. Where is Rhythm Heaven on here? Yuka, there we go. I already have an icon for Yuka. And she was in the DS game, so there we go, perfect. Yes, Rhythm Heaven. Good time for Rhythm Heaven. Cool. Who else was big on the DS that we could add? Oh, do we give Bandana D some love? Because Bandana D debuted here in this era, right? Like technically, Bandana D debuted in Kirby Superstar Ultra, and then was made playable on Return to Dreamland. And the DS and Wii was Kirby's sort of return to relevance after sort of dropping off it on the GameCube. Well, it's DS and Wii, Ozzy. So, and Bandana D was where he debuted. Well, as a playable character, anyway. It obviously then becomes super relevant in the 3DS Wii U era, but it was technically here, yeah, Wii, exactly. So, I think we'll give Bandana D his due. Just so that the whole cast of Return to Dreamland is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Okay, we're on 46. Cool, so we're on 46. I still need 2 Echo Fighters, so let's do those first. Which Echo... We need 2 Echo Fighters. Who do we make those Echo Fighters? We can have third parties. I assume that was asked because people had an interest in, like, Shadow as an Echo Fighter. I'm willing to open it up to that. But I don't know. Well, I suppose... No, I'm not a believer that the Black Knight makes a good Echo Fighter for Ike. Personally, I'll say. But you know who could be a good Echo Fighter here? Daisy. Because she became one eventually, didn't she? And Peach is here. So we had Princess Rosalina. Could we also get Princess Daisy now? Daisy was also relevant in the Wii and DS era, right? I mean, and I guess in all the spin-offs. I mean, the DS is like the Wii is where Baby Daisy debuted. Daisy was at the height of her relevance at this point in time. Let's do Daisy. Go on. Where is my Daisy icon? I know she's here somewhere. There she is. Hiding behind Bandana D, I think. Oh. Wait, no. No, where is she? Oh no, she's not. She's down there. Just had to look down. Alright, Daisy's one of our clones. One of our echoes. Who is our other echo? Well, no, Isaac doesn't work for Matthew. That's very specifically why we cut Isaac, because Isaac is a dad in this. So the only way it would really work with Isaac is if Matthew played like old Isaac, and Isaac was a new character entirely. Which feels like a very roundabout way of keeping Isaac around, in my opinion. So I don't think we're going to do that. I'll end the poll for Olimar. Olimar's gone. So we need... So someone suggested Shadow Man... No, Shadow Man. Shadow and Proto Man. I feel like between them Shadow could. Shadow would be my preference. Was Shadow relevant at this time? Like, on the Wii and DS? I guess if we branch out to the Xbox 360, there was Sonic 06, which obviously featured playable Shadow. Does that count? Is that good enough? And Proto Man was in the same Mega Man 9. Sonic and the... Oh, yeah, you're right. Sonic and the Dark Brotherhood. How could I forget? Down. Sonic and the Dark Brotherhood. Yeah, Shadow was in that. That's true. Yeah, we can do Shadow. We can do Shadow. All hail Shadow. Heroes rise again. Do 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 do. Sonic and Dark Brotherhood. Well, Blaze isn't quite cloney enough to be Sonic. Shadow Echo. Shadow was also in the Black Knight. I do get Quiz's point though. Proto Man for Echo makes Shadow a proper fighter in the DLC. Shadow could... The problem with Sonic in Smash Brothers, right, is that he fights like... He's clearly a combination of classic Sonic and modern Sonic. Which Shadow doesn't have a classic variant. So it would kind of be a little lame. And then we have to have an Echo Fighter, just a pure Echo Fighter. I think Proto Man might actually be the better choice here, to be honest. I might actually go for Proto Man. Do I have a Proto Man on here? Feels like the sort of character that there's a chance I would actually have him somewhere. I don't see Proto Man on here. I must not have him. I will download Proto Man. So Proto Man is one of our echoes. We need... Oh no, we got both the echoes. Sorry, didn't we? We got Daisy. Cool, there we go. There's our two echoes. So we got one more space. And maybe we just do have Zoroark as well. Like, maybe we do just let Zoroark also be here in the base along with Lucario to represent both generations of Pokemon. Maybe that would solve that problem, I guess. This non-existent problem. So let's do that. Let's bump Zoroark up as well. I know I have a Zoroark somewhere. I'm sure of it. Well, it's actually... Oh, it's Zoroark or it's Micaiah, I think, from Fire Emblem. It's one of those two. Oh, you know what, actually? You know what? Actually, no. I think... No, you know what? I think what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do Micaiah from Fire Emblem to replace Robin from Fire Emblem. And then Zoroark we're going to keep as DLC, because I just suddenly sort of realised that maybe if DLC Zoroark replaces Corrin, right? So hear me out. So Zoroark replaces Corrin in the DLC lineup. And Corrin was chosen because Corrin was very relevant at the time, which we can interpret as being a late DS or late Wii character, which would be Zoroark in this scenario, because Black and White was so late. So this is our base Smash 4 roster for this time. So that's our base Smash 4 roster, and now we will chuck for the DLC, like I just said, so for the DLC we can have 3 third parties, some returning characters who were cut previously who are relevant. Let me do the math on this again. So who was DLC in Smash 4? We got Mewtwo, we got Roy, we got Lucas, we got Ryu, we got Cloud, we got Bayonetta, well, we got Corrin, and then we got Bayonetta. So Mewtwo can come back because Mewtwo's always relevant thanks to Pokemon. So Mewtwo can actually just come back. Yeah. Instead of us having 2 Fire Emblem characters in the DLC, we're getting 2 Pokemon characters this time, which I suppose in real life people would have probably been more accepting of. But are there any cut characters who we cut previously who are still relevant? So actually, funny, Wolf is still relevant thanks to Command. So Wolf also gets to come back as DLC. Good on you, Wolf. And then, was there anyone else that we've previously cut who's up? Do you know what character we cut who had a game on the Nintendo Wii, and in fact had a very big series on the Nintendo Wii? Do you know who it is? Do you know who it is? I'll tell you who it is. Excitebike was really big on the Wii. Excite Bots, Excite Truck, Excitebike WiiWare game. Congratulations, Excitebiker. You get to come back as the DLC character. I guess if Mewtwo is the Roy, then Excitebiker gets to be the Mewtwo in this. Excitebiker is the free character you get if you pre-order Smash 4 Wii U and 3DS on the day. Excellent. I love it. Cool. And then next up we are... What are we doing? DLC. Ryu. That's what I want. That's who I want to find. So many characters and stuff thrown around. So, Mr. Fighting Game Ryu will be somewhere around here. Ryu is still relevant. Like, Street Fighter 4 was still around at this time, right? Like, Street Fighter 4 was around at this time, I'm pretty sure, just on Xbox and PlayStation 3. But that doesn't matter for us. So, Ryu is still DLC. That's fine. Cloud. Was Cloud relevant at this time? Bayonetta was. Bayonetta 1 was on the Xbox 360, so we can actually... I guess it's a question of, do we bother bringing Bayonetta at all? I might actually leave Bayonetta for now. Cloud is pretty cooked, though, you're right. I can't think of anywhere outside of, like, maybe a Kingdom Hearts cameo where Cloud was relevant. And it's the same for Dragon Quest in this time. There's not much Dragon Quest stuff. So you know what this means? You know what this means, right? Okay. And what this means is that we needed a different Final Fantasy character who was relevant, very relevant during this era. One that's very Cloud-like in many ways. Welcome to Smash Brothers Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. She's basically female Cloud, right? And Final Fantasy 13 series, pretty big at the time. So, so there we go. Lightning gets to join in as a Final Fantasy rep. Zoroark, we said, didn't we? So Zoroark's getting in as DLC. That's fine. DLC Pokemon, another one. And so instead of Bayonetta, so it's too difficult to figure out who we think the most popular, who would have won a theoretical fighter ballot in the year of our Lord 2011 from the Wii. I see all the push for Shadow, but yeah, that's what Aussie's asked the right thing. What was a third-party series with big Nintendo support on the Wii and DS? Does DS make that easy? Because I mean, I can think of a few options, I suppose. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Layton. Oh, of course it was. Of course it's Layton. Done. Well, there we go. Aussie's just made this very difficult question extremely easy. Professor Layton is our final DLC character. Monster Hunter did jump onto Nintendo on the Wii, to be fair, but I'd say the 3DS is where Monster Hunter really blew up as in popularity. Alright, so there we go. There is our final post-DLC Smash 4 roster. Which means we have Ultimate next, but no! No, we do not. Because I am doing something very interesting. I am going to keep doing this, but for Ultimate. Ultimate is no longer a game about bringing back every character. It is now a game about highlighting the Wii U and 3DS era. For the bants. That's what we're doing here. It's Wii U and 3DS time for... everyone is not here. Because the Wii U and 3DS did not have anything. And we're going to start this by figuring out who do we cut from here. So originally I did bring up Breath of the Wild, right? And Breath of the Wild was on Wii U. But, Sakurai didn't like the idea of Breath of the Wild Zelda fighting. I think Tears of the Kingdom Zelda's fine. Breath of the Wild Zelda, not so much. So actually, I didn't download them, I should have. We're going to replace, this time around, our Links, our Zeldas, going to be based on A Link Between Worlds. Because that was really the biggest Zelda game of the Wii U and 3DS generation. I'm not going to call this Ultimate. Actually, no, I will call it Ultimate, just for my own tracking. But we're going to I'll call it Ultimate for my own tracking. We're going to have A Link Between Worlds Link. Is now the current Link. So Breath of the Wild will have to wait, because we're just going to count it as a Switch game, because that's what most people played it on. And Zelda, Skyward Sword Zelda is gone. But we're going to be replacing Skyward Sword Zelda with just the regular Zelda instead. Easy. The one that they did end up using. So, do we count the Akira 3D remakes? Ooh, do we count the Akira 3D remake of Excitebike to keep Excitebike around? We can do. But let's because it is technically an original game. So let's go through the Wii U and 3DS era. So Samus does get to stick around because of Samus Returns eventually, thankfully. Kirby is perfectly fine in this era. Yoshi's perfectly fine in this era. Fox is fine in this era. I was about to say no, but actually no, Fox is fine because of Star Fox Zero. Hooray! So Fox can stick. Pikachu is fine always. Luigi had a big blow up in this generation with Luigi's Mansion. Jigglypuff is fine. Peach is fine. Bowser's fine. Zelda is now a Link Between Worlds one. Mewtwo is fine. Falco is fine because he's in Star Fox Zero. Dr. Mario. There were 3DS Dr. Mario, right? There's a Wii U. Yeah, Dr. Mario and Dr. Luigi, in fact, in this gen. So Dr. Mario's fine. Wario's fine. Really, it should be WarioWare Wario now. Maybe I will. I'll just keep him as that. It's fine. King Dedede. Those don't make new additions. Yeah, I'm not going to count. I think I won't count the Akira 3D, even though I think technically. Oh no, we did count the. They are remade up from the ground up. You're right. And we counted Advance, even though it really didn't matter. Like Urban Champion 3D is not just a port of Urban Champion; it is a full game. So I'll let you guys decide. This can be the one that you guys all decide again. Keep Excitebike or cut Excitebike. As I go through this, Diddy Kong is fine. Tropical Freeze exists, so Diddy Kong is fine. Meta Knight is fine. Toon Link. Ooh, do we count Wind Waker HD as a thing? I guess there's also Triforce Heroes, which has Toon Link. So yeah. Zero Suit Samus though, I think we're gonna cut. I don't think Zero Suit Samus is, outside of a cameo, is in Samus Returns or Federation Force. So I think Zero Suit Samus is gone. Ike is also gone. Sonic's fine. Wolf is fine. Charizard we can cut and there's no Pokemon Trainer Red is not in. It's not in the 3DS era. It's no. Yeah, Red's in Sun and Moon technically, right? Ike does have DLC for Awakening. He does have very ugly DLC for Awakening and Fates, yeah. And he's in Codename Steam. Oh yeah. Yeah, he is. I guess actually Ike is fine then, isn't he? In a shocking twist, being a really popular thingy character. Hold on a sec. So let me. I've lost where people are. So we'll keep Ike. I'm gonna keep Pokemon Train. I'm just gonna reuse this one because I can't. Yeah, all the Kanto starters are also X and Y starters, so they're super relevant. Yeah. So yeah. I'll keep Pokemon Trainers back. Blaza King sticks around. Dixie Kong sticks around. Crystal is cut though because she's not in any of the Star Fox games that appear in this era. Sammy is also cut because Advance Wars also just disappeared off the face of the earth from this era. Dark Samus is also cut because Dark Samus was her story. The story was done, so gone. Golden Sun also cut. Villager is fine. Rosalina and Luma's fine. Mii's are fine. Shulk isn't. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Shulk is fine. Shulk is fine because we got the 3D remake of Xenoblade Chronicles, so he's all right. Bowser Jr. is fine. Wii Fit Trainer is fine because Wii Fit U exists. But Little Mac is not fine. Little Mac is cut as well. Marth is in the same boat as Ike Does Xenoblade 3D count? I think it does, because we counted the Mario Advance games, we counted the Game Boy Advance versions of Donkey Kong Country. They didn't port Xeno 3D, they had to sort of remake it. Well, you say fun to replace with Elmer, why don't we just add Elmer as well? Right, we're going to have a lot this time around, right? Mega Man. Were there any Mega Man games on the Wii U and 3DS? There was obviously gonna be Mega Man Legends. There's the Mega Man Collection on 3DS. Do we count the Legacy Collection? Do collections count? Because we didn't count the NES Classics. Do collections count in this? I don't know how much of them are remade or how much of them are just emulators, right? Yeah, it's a collection of ROMs. Pac-Man as well. Is there a Pac-Man game on the Wii U and 3DS? Or is there a Pac-Man game on the Xbox One or PS4? I'm assuming there must have been. Surely there was some sort of Pac-Man... Oh god, you're right. Ghost of the Adventures. And I guess Hyrule Warriors is also an interesting one. Like, because Girahim was on the Wii U thanks to Hyrule Warriors. So does that count? Does Girahim get to stick around? Party Phil gets to stick around because of Wii Party U. That's fine. Unfortunately, Sin and Punishment is cut once again. We can keep... Was Yuka's in Megamix, right? Because Megamix is basically a fusion of all the Rhythm Heaven games. So I assume she appears in that in some form. Bandana Waddle Dee is fine. Daisy is fine. Proto Man. Yes, as Tap Troop. I need to know, was there a Mega Man game on the 3DS and Wii U that's not the Legacy Collection? Because I don't feel like counting the Legacy Collection. Because Mega Man 10 was also on the Wii, right? Like, Mega Man 10 was a Wii game. Not going to count Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. No, so I think Mega Man skips this whole generation. Which means Mega Man and Proto Man are also both cut. Makai, I'm pretty sure is cut. I don't think, unlike Marth and Ike, who get to cameo in other games, I don't... Oh no, Makai was in Awakening as DLC as well. So we'll kind of count. We can sort of count that. 10 was on Wii. Ryu. There's Street Fighter 3D, I suppose. I suppose we can do that. Lightning. I think Lightning's time is gone at this point, right? When was Final Fantasy 13 3? Lightning. When was Lightning Returns? What system was that on? It was on PS3 and Xbox 360, so it's too late because we can do PS4 and Xbox Series. I might put a cap on PS4 to say 2018, 2019. Lightning Returns is PS3, Xbox 360, so I think we're going to not include Lightning unless there was something else Lightning was on. Professor Layton's fine though, because there were 3DS Professor Layton games. I'm not... Do I want to count... I don't think I'm gonna count the 3DS version, the 3DS DLC for Micaiah in Fire Emblem Awakening. I wasn't originally going to count Ike, but then Ike also being in Fates, Ike also being in Codename Steam, sort of decided for me that he was going to be. Dissidia was a PSP game, so Dissidia was way earlier. There was probably other Dissidia... Well, there must have been other Dissidia games, surely. I just don't know them. So I'm going to cut Micaiah. Okay. And then Excite Biker, it looks like you all decided that we should cut Excite Biker. So I'm going to cut Excite Biker, I'm afraid, unfortunately. Right, so this is what we've got to start with now. Alright, Girahim, actually, because I don't think I heard about everyone's thoughts on this. I kept Girahim around because he's in Hyrule Warriors, which is on the Wii U. Is that fair enough for keeping Girahim? It's a spin-off game, but he's one of the playable characters in said spin-off game. He's no longer the main villain, but he's still, like, you know, an antagonist, so... Well, Hyrule Warriors counts? Girahim can stay? Okay, Girahim can stay. That's just the reassertion I needed. So, now we can look at who else do we have from the Wii U 3DS era that we can keep for this. So, Ultimate, and then where's Zelda? Zelda, you need to jump up to. Professor Layton, I need to put you into Brawl. Oh no, Smash 4, whoops. So just doing a bit of cleanup on the side to keep track of everything. Zorak and Ryu, I also need to move you into Smash 4. Cool, okay. So who do we have to work with from cut characters on here? So... Bam, Fire Emblem, Sam, Dark Summer Snake, Lyn. Still is it? No. Okay, so. Right. Kid Icarus Uprising is a thing. So finally, Pit can make his debut in Super Smash Brothers. We finally get to have Pit after so long. So we can add Pit into the game, finally. And with Pit, we can also go ahead and add in Palutena as well. And we can add in Dark Pit as well, in fact. I'll save Dark Pit for now, just to make it easier for tracking echoes later. So, I guess I'll explain, because with Ultimate, obviously, with Ultimate everyone came back and then there were a handful of characters. We still need to hit Ultimate's number, but with the characters we've got here. So let's do the math on this quickly. How many base roster characters were there in Ultimate? So there were 76 base game characters apparently. I'm assuming that counts the 3 Mii fighters all as their own separate as separate fighters. Is that right? So I believe it's... So I think it's 69 base fighters, and then Echo fighters, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Was it 6 Echo fighters? Or was it 7 Echo fighters? Am I miscounting? I think it's 7 Echo fighters actually, which would bring us to 76. So cool. So we've got 69 base characters, 7 Echo fighters. Now currently on this list we have Dr. Mario doesn't count as an Echo fighter. Toon Link doesn't count as an Echo fighter. I don't think we have any Echo. Oh, Daisy. We got one Echo fighter on this list, and that's Daisy. Yeah. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, accidentally cat Daisy 44. So we've got 44 fighters, so we need to add in 25 more fighters. Oh lord. Okay. So we need to add in 25 relevant fighters for the 3DS and Wii U generation, and then 6 Echo fighters we need to add in as well. Good lord. Okay. Oh no. Mii fighters and Pokemon trainer count as 3 each, actually. Sorry. So that's another 4 I need to add. So 48. So actually we only need to add 21 fighters. Yay! It makes it easier. Okay. About it. This universe, Lynn and Mackay would have been playable in Fates. Yeah, we can't talk about that in like this universe. In this universe, there's a chance that Pit wouldn't happen, so because of thingy. Well, let's start by adding in the characters who we can add now. So we are able to add in Palutena as well, so that's fine. We can add in Dark Pit as well, and Dark Pit can take up one of our Echo Fighter slots. So we now have 2 Echoes. We can cut this down to 20, 5 Echo Fighters. We can add in Robin, because Awakening is now Awakening 3DS and Shadows of Valentia we have to work with. So we can add in Robin, and we can add in Lucina as an Echo of Marth. So there we go. It's all coming together. Now Marth is back in business for creating characters based off of him. There we go. So that's all done. We can add in Corrin, because Fates is still important. And we're going to need the fighters. So Fire Emblem is getting a massive boost, which I think is fair. Of all the Nintendo series to really flourish in the Wii U 3DS era, it's Fire Emblem. Right? It nearly died and then came back. As I've got her up in front of me anyway, Elma, we talked about it before. I think Xenoblade can get another shot. Elma, Xenoblade X was a big Wii U title. I think we can add Elma in as well. Help bring us up. Right, cool. Here, what I'll do DLC afterwards. Greninja. We got Pokemon X and Y. There we go. Greninja can make their debut. And we can also work with Sun and Moon, which will also mean that Incineroar we'll get to. But before I get to Incineroar, Pikmin 3 is important. Alf. Unlike Olimar, who we cut, Alf is the main character of Pikmin 3. I think we bring Alf back. I think we'd make Alf debut even. And if we really want Olimar, he can be the costume this time. So we can have Alf. In fact, maybe we do. Do we want to do Alf as an Echo? Like, obviously they didn't do it in actual Smash, but we could have Alf. We could in theory bring Alf and Olimar back, because they're both in Pikmin 3, aren't they? And I think Olimar is playable in Pikmin 3 in the multiplayer mode, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. Alf as the Echo, and then we will scrounge up. I think it's that. Slightly worried I've lost track a little bit now. Alf can be an Echo. Olimar will get to come back. Give me a second as I drag all of these survivors up top. Where were you at? Where were you, Olimar? In Brawl, there we go. So Olimar gets to return. Alf is now also part of this. So, cool. Ultimate. We get to... So characters who originally appeared in Ultimate. So... Ken. Wherever you are. There you are, Ken. You're still relevant at this time, because as long as Ryu's relevant, you're relevant. That brings us up to that. Incineroar, because Sun and Moon as well. So we also get to just have Incineroar. So... 54... 14... Inkling, obviously, because Splatoon 1 is super relevant. It was a Wii U title. The big Wii U title. So, Inkling, you're in. Now, as much as I hate it, as much as I despise it, Ridley was in Samus Returns on the 3DS. Which means Ridley is relevant again. In a place he shouldn't have been, but it does help him get in to this game. Congratulations. And Isabelle, obviously, very relevant. So Isabelle also gets to be in. Fighters. Yeah, it's going to have to be Proteus Ridley, though. I'm not making an icon for him, but it's Proteus Ridley is the version of Ridley that we're getting. Okay. Now. Who else do we want here? So Castlevania had a 3DS game. It was Mirrors of Fate. I think all the Castlevania content... Oh yeah, of course, yeah, Bayonetta. It is Bayo time. It is Bayonetta time. Good for you, Bayonetta. Hooray. So we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Add on 4 for these two, that's 64, but then take away 5 for the echoes we've got. So, cool. We're on 59 fighters and 5 echoes. So we need 10 more fighters and 2 more echo fighters. So, with Castlevania, do we use Mirrors of Fate? Because that's the only version of Castlevania we can use for this. Like, do we think that's valid enough? We can't use... There's no Richter, so it would have to be... I guess it would be Gabriel Belmont, right? Because in that game, there's Gabriel Belmont, Simon Belmont, and then Alucard. Alucard also being Trevor Belmont. Jean as the Richter. Yeah, we could do. Could do Jean as... Well, I mean... Yeah, let's figure out first, do we put Castlevania in? And then we can figure out the Echo Fighter. If we think we should put Castlevania in, then we need to have, yeah, thingy of Mirrors of Fate Simon, who we probably don't have an icon for. No. So what I will do instead is I'll use the Simon we do have, and then just do what I did before with someone over the top of him. Got so many miscellaneous icons on here. Where's Simon? Where you at, Simon? Eat, Sheeta, Mac Rider, Brawl. It's gotta be some. Oh, there he is. There we go, Simon. Okay, so we'll have Simon, but well, I guess because Simon will be our only third party actually. So yeah, no. So maybe we don't do Simon actually, because what we should be doing is picking a third party that was really relevant to the Wii U and 3DS era. Unless that's Bayonetta. Maybe that's what Bayonetta is actually. Bayonetta is the really relevant third party. Yeah, Bayonetta is the really relevant third party. So actually we don't get another third party. So yeah, Jean, yeah. Jean is the... I see the source. I get it now. I understand. It's clicked in place for me. Let's get Jean in here. So you can tell I've been streaming for like 2 and a bit hours. I don't know why it's the Bayonetta 1 version of her, but it'll do. Alright, cool. So Jean gets to be in as one of our Echo Fighters. So we have 1 Echo Fighter slot left. Now the last thing I'll do is a quick scan of all the characters that we've cut in prior rosters who suddenly came back into relevance in this era. I can't think of anyone, but like Earthbound is still irrelevant. F-Zero is still irrelevant beyond a Nintendo Land minigame, so that doesn't count. Game & Watch is still relevant beyond a Nintendo Land minigame. I don't believe Rob had anything on the Wii U and 3DS. Like anything of note, anyway. Advance Wars didn't. Yeah, Crystal, yeah. Lynn didn't either. I mean, I guess she's technically in Fire Emblem Warriors 3D, which we could count, but it's... I won't. So I think this is it. So Ganon is a good point. So because we've done... so we have a choice. We can either do Hyrule Warriors Ganondorf, or we can do Ganon the Pig. I'm leaning towards Ganon the Pig because Link and Zelda are there, a Link Between Worlds versions. Also Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, that's true. But I'm leaning into the new form of Zelda. Hilda from Link Between Worlds as a Zelda Echo. Pig Ganon would be the coolest direction. So, because we could also say Sheik could come back because of Hyrule Warriors again. So we're keeping Girahim around for Hyrule Warriors. But I don't know how much I want to lean into that as an excuse to bring back Sheik and Ganondorf. I kept Toon Link in here not necessarily because of Wind Waker HD, but because of Triforce Heroes, actually. Because that's Toon Link. I think Pig Ganon would be the coolest direction as well. So let's do Pigus Ganonus. The Latin. I guess I just have to type in Ganon. Now, I guess technically, like, Ganon appears in Link Between Worlds, but it's actually you, Ganon, if I remember right, who's actually the one you fight. but I will do regular Ganon. So someone brought the idea of Hilda being a Zelda Echo. I like that as an idea. So I think we could... I'll put it on the maybe pile for Echo Fighters. But I do like that as an idea. Cool. And then we need 9 more. I like Monita as an idea. I think Monita is a good choice. Surely there is a Monita icon somewhere. She is an icon, so... No, that's Nintendo Land Ridley is not the one I want. Is there Monita anywhere? I don't know if I've got an icon for Monita. I just have to I'll just have to grab a random one, I guess, and put Monita over it. Well, Rob, you're not relevant, so I'm gonna borrow you for a second. First I've got to get a thing of Monita though. I'm gonna have Monita here. I'm gonna have Robert. Okay, let's make you smaller. No, that's not what I... Oh wait, how big is this? Okay, it's like that. Jeez. Cool. Borrowing you for a sec. There we go. Monita. Sick. Okay, Nintendo Land Agenda, yeah. Yeah, so WarioWare is another one that I think will should get one. Will it and Dylan. And Dylan as well. I think Dylan and Ashley from WarioWare should both get picks in here. So let me find... I'm sure I've got them both on here already. I must do somewhere. Ashley's there. There's Ashley. There we go. And then Dylan is here. There we go. Perfect. So Ashley and Dylan. That's fine. And so, do you know who else could... literally Quiz just said it. Captain Toad. Because Captain Toad was a pretty popular game on the Wii U. And this gives us our other Echo Fighter option with Toadette. So we have Hilda or we have Toadette as a second option. Of those two, I'm personally leading towards Toadette. So Captain Toad. Oh, the chat has disappeared on stream. Because Google is garbage. Refreshes its cache all the time. Maybe I should stop using XSplit and go back to using OBS. I swear it does not have these issues. Okay. And now refresh. Okay. Something for the Sakura Samurai. Ever Oasis. Nikki was big on the 3DS, that's true. Now that exists. Yeah, we'll say that Ganon is you Ganon in this. I mean, I don't have an icon for you Ganon, but we can just say it's the same one. Oh, I've just realised it's too zoomed in. Scroll in a little bit. No, I want to scroll in. This'll do. This'll do. Okay. We do have 3 Box Boy games, but what could QB even do? No offense to QB. So I think this is the point where we now... Well, actually, you know, first off, I'm going to add Toadette and finish off the Echo Fighters. I think Toadette is Echo Fighter material here. I'm sure I have a Toadette in here, in fact. Toadette. Oh no, no. Wrong way of doing that. There we go. Toadette is here. Toadette gets the Echo Fighter. So that's all of our Echo Fighters done. So 5 more. Yeah, Kazuya is viable for in the DLC. You're fine on that. So what I think we'll do is still going to quickly announce that I'm still streaming in case anyone thinks in case anyone else wants to jump in. I'll do what I did last time. Let's look at the best-selling 3DS and best-selling Wii U games. Best-selling Wii U games is going to be very easy. And see if there's any significant options that just have completely skipped my mind of this era. So the best-selling Wii U games: Splatoon, Nintendo Land, all the Marios, Wind Waker HD, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Pikmin 3, Hyrule Warriors, Pokken. And on the 3DS side, we've got Pokemon's, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Tomodachi Life, we've got the Mii's, we've got Luigi's Mansion, Monster Hunter, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Donkey Kong, Kirby Triple Deluxe. Okay, you know what? We can't have... Bashmaster the Unbreakable or Lord Frederick would be very funny. I was about to say though, Cranky Kong, right? Like, then we filled out the Return to Dreamland 4. Why not do the Tropical Freeze 4? And let's get Cranky Kong in this thing. We need some old man representation as well. So we're gonna get Cranky Kong. We've already added like 3 Fire Emblem characters. I don't necessarily think we need Azura. Worst comes to worst, I'd add someone from Echoes first. I think like Celica. So what else do we have on the bestseller list? We've got Professor Layton. We've done Pokemon. We've done Kid Icarus Uprising. We've got Mii's Star Fox, Rhythm Heaven, Style Savvy and the Million Sellers on 3DS. I don't know what we'd do for a Style Savvy character, but It was pretty big on the 3DS era, right? Where is Yoshi's Woolly World? Do 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 do. Okay. So, as this is quite a bit tougher. What do we say about what do we say about Waluigi? Is this Waluigi's time? Should we get Waluigi in? I like Tokimura Sessions as an idea. I think that's DLC material. So let's say shall we give Waluigi his due? Because he is relevant at this time still. I'm seeing a yes, I'm seeing a no. I think we can give Waluigi some love. Plus he's like the one missing. You think it's too early for Waluigi? You know what? Band Brothers had a pretty popular 3DS game. This is an agenda of mine, at the very least. It had Vocaloid software. You could make songs with Gummy. I'm going to put Barbara in here, and nobody can stop me. If I can't have Takamaru, I can at least have Barbara. Like, Murasame Castle made its comeback on the 3DS through Virtual Console stuff, but none of that's new. I already said that it's not. We can't do that. See, I'm seeing mostly against Waluigi, to be honest. So I guess I'll miss out. For shame. Do we have Susie from Robobot as a Robobot character? Because Planet Robobot is peak stuff, right? One of the best Kirby games out there, and this is a time for it. So unfortunately, it wouldn't be Takamaru. It would be a me dressed as Takamaru, which isn't the same. Unfortunately, I'm having to hold myself back. Tears behind these eyes. Alright, let's do... let's do the Arcade Bunny. Arcade Bunny's fun. Proper 3DS icon. So we're gonna have like a little thingy. And I'm gonna say Susie for a Robobot rep. Kirby did it big on the 3DS. Which I'm just gonna quickly count, but I think we have one more spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, plus 4, 75. Yes. So we got one more character we can have. We could do another Fire Emblem character from Echoes. We could do Chibi Robo from Ziplash. We could do Waluigi, because it's Waluigi. We could do Impa from Hyrule Warriors. If we do want to count Wind Waker HD, we could do Toon Ganondorf. That's an option. I think that's kind of where our options are running out. Pukumuku. We could do another Star Fox Zero character. We could do Slippy Toad with a Star Fox Guard moveset. And I think those are really our options. Ooh, Codename Steam. We could add Henry Fleming from Codename Steam. We did use Codename Steam to justify keeping Ike around, right? And Marth, technically. I like the idea of putting failed icon Henry Fleming on this roster. Someone's got to have made an icon for Henry Fleming. I'll be really, really annoyed if nobody has. What do you mean no one has made an icon for Codename Steam? Darn. Okay. Codename Steam. I'll find you, Henry. And I think Henry Fleming would have an interesting moveset. I think it'd be interesting. I'll don't know who I'll take. Maybe I'll just do it over Susie. So let's just I'll just make a copy of you. Duplicate layer. And then clip. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. There is our Is Abe is Abe in the archives? I mean, the real Abraham Lincoln is in the archives. I don't see Codename Steam Abraham Lincoln in here. Dropped in your folder. Okay. So this is our roster. Oh wait. Actually, sorry. I might actually kick Henry Fleming out because I just realised. Didn't we say Style Savvy? We'd have a Style Savvy character. Because that game was a million seller. And there were like 3 of them on the 3DS. Sorry, I'm going to kick Henry Fleming out. Forget this. We're having a Style Savviest in here instead. I don't know if this character specifically is from that game, but who cares? Alright, there we go. Here is our base roster for Super Smash Bros. For Switch that represents the Wii U. Now we got to do the Fighter Pass DLC as well. Now. So we're still not done just yet. So, Fighter Pass time. I'm going to just make a folder inside here and call it Fighter Pass. So the easy first one is Piranha Plant, because Piranha Plant is always relevant, always fine. So remember, they got to be on the 3DS, Wii U, but can also be PS4, and can also be Xbox One as well, which is important. So where is Piranha Plant to start us off? There you are. There you are. So we're going to do Piranha Plant. And then I'll just move that up here. Cool. So we're going to do Piranha Plant. And then who else in the fighter pass have we got who is relevant for this time? So Persona Joker, Persona 3, is on the Persona 3, Persona 5 even, is on from this era, right? It's on PS3 and PS5. So Joker gets to stick around. Kazuya as well has been brought up several times. Tekken Tag Tournament. Iconic Wii U game, Tekken Tag Tournament 2 gets to be around as well. Kingdom Hearts 3, the Dream Drop Distance 3DS game. Sora gets to stick around. Or gets to make his debut, I guess. Technically. Minecraft was also big in this era. Minecraft is also in this era, so Steve also gets to make the cut. Gets to come back. Yeah, Minecraft is also on the Wii U, you're right. So that's fine. So there's, if I remember right, there's 11 DLC fighters. 12 DLC fighters if you count Piranha Plant. And of those 12 DLC fighters, 1, 2... Does Pyro and Mithra count as separate characters? I think they do. Yeah, they do. So there's 1, 2, 3, 5... So we got 5 Nintendo characters. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 third-party characters. Do we count Pyro and Mithra really as 2 separate characters? They came together. I feel like we'd have to find a shared one, wouldn't we? Well, you say no Hero, but that's not true, because the Dragon Quest XI is on 3DS. So actually, yes, Hero, very much Hero gets to make it in. Specifically, the Luminary version of Hero, who I don't think I have an icon for because I usually use Erdrick. So here we go. So Hero's fine. So Hero, Steve, Sora, Kazuya, Joker, they're all fine. Was there... Yeah, so I'm just going to do the third parties before I go on to the Nintendo ones. Who else did we have? So there's no Banjo. Was Terry... Is Terry viable? We count King of Fighters, that's fine. Was King of Fighters on the PS4? If it was, then yeah, then Terry works as well. We can do Terry, that's fine. King of Fighters 14, awesome. There we go. Terry Bogard, he still makes it. Steve and Alex make it. Kazuya, yes, well, really, all the third parties make it. So the one question we've now got to ask ourselves is Final Fantasy, because we cut Lightning. So Final Fantasy VII, right? Do we have Final Fantasy VII Remake? When did that come out? Because the problem with PS4 is it's been around for like a decade and a bit, essentially. So, when was Final Fantasy VII Remake? So it was 2020, which to me feels a little too far off the cut-off date. Final Fantasy... See, I'd count Final Fantasy VII Remake as being a part of the current generation of gaming. Because this is the problem when PS4 lasted so blooming long. Was there any cloud stuff prior to 2018? Thanks for being around, Animated. Case Noctis. Yeah, we can't do Switch. Switch is late. Theatrhythm. Yeah, maybe we have to do Noctis. Or do we think Noctis is worth doing? Is Noctis big for this era? We already got Hero and Sora. So is it worth doing Final Fantasy is the question, because we could replace Final Fantasy with another third-party character. Noctis from Tekken 7. Like, rather than doing a Final Fantasy character, we could do Monster Hunter, right? Like, we could do Monster Hunter instead. Or Phoenix Wright, yeah. Yeah. Should we do Monster Hunter? Like, I know they didn't pick Monster Hunter character probably for a reason, but I don't know what that reason is, so... I'm sure I've got a Monster Hunter somewhere in here. Yeah, there it is. Monster Hunter. Cool, so Monster Hunter gets to be in. Especially given that we cut Mega Man, right? Yeah, same. I'd rather have different third parties. So that's it for the third parties. So actually, pretty much all the third parties that we got in were relevant during this era of gaming, which is kind of neat. So now on to the Nintendo ones, which are going to be a lot harder. But it's come up a few times. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is a perfect choice for this one to replace Byleth. So obviously we'll have Tsubasa. Can take that position. So what other big... And similar to the DLC for Smash for Wii U, I think we should really focus in on characters who came later in the 3DS and Wii U's life cycle if we can. So... Oh, you're right. Banjo is missing. You're right. Oh, you're right. We have one more space for a third-party character actually, so we get a second third party because I'm missing Banjo. I mean, do we want Crash Bandicoot? He came back during that era, right? When was Crash Insane Trilogy? 2017. Very late, but technically within this era. I could do Crash. Oh yeah, Jibanyan. Yes. Yeah, I think Jibanyan's probably... Just given how important it was, if we're thinking like actual cultural significance, I think Jibanyan is probably it. Rayman is also another good shout, actually. But we've had level 5 in here already, so I can see them double dipping on that. Just to confirm, when was Dragon Quest 11? It was also 2017, so it's also quite late. But so was Joker Persona 5, right? That was Persona 5 is 2016, so that's actually earlier. Yeah. Rip Rayman. Yes, okay. So Tsubasa, so we got Tsubasa for one of our Nintendo characters. So we've got we got 3 Nintendo characters left. Is there any... Are there any Nintendo characters who could transform, taking Pyra and Mithra's place? You know, like flipping over each other. Is there anyone who could potentially do something like that? Could Almond Celica do that? Change places. With Celica being more fire, with a few more magic-based stuff, and would Almond Celica fight similar to each other? Is that something that you could do? It would be extremely funny to have the DLC have Tsubasa, Alm, and Celica all in there. Tetra and Toon Zelda were both in Hyrule Warriors, yes, on the 3DS one. Well, I did actually think about that with Tsubasa and Shida, but it doesn't quite work that way in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, right? Like, they're more like personas. So Shida, it's more like Shida stands behind. Stands behind her. I suppose she could fight. She does have her own thing. Do we want to do that? Do we want to say Tsubasa and Shida just to get that out of the way? Let's see if we can't think of another one. If we can't think of another one, I could do a Tsubasa and Shida duo for this. Who else have we got? Who else have we got here? I'm just looking at like the best-selling games on the 3DS. Yeah, Dragon Quest XI was like one of the best-selling. What were some late 3DS titles and late Wii U titles? Like 3DS only games. Oh, Ever Oasis. That was a late 3DS title. It didn't sell extremely well or anything, but I think given our like requirements, the kid from Ever Oasis could be it. Yeah, Wonder Red was Nintendo at the time, so we could have done Wonder Red, but I think Wonder Red would have been a base game character if we had done Wonder Red. I think it's too late now. I've already sort of locked this stuff in. But Wonder Red would have actually been a not a half bad choice earlier, actually. Oh well. I mean, Cat and Anna could also be the Aegis replacement, yeah. But Ever Oasis Kid. What's the Ever Oasis Kid called? Because WarioWare Gold is a late game one. What's his name? Tethu. Tethu. Is there a Tethu thing? There is. We have Tethu. Alright. Tethu gets to be in. Hooray! Tethu is one of our DLCs. So we've got Piranha Plant, Shida, Tethu. So yeah, so we either need two characters who can interchange, or we add in Shida from Fire Emblem as a character that can jump out instead of Tsubasa. What was coming out towards the end of the Wii U's life cycle, or the 3DS's life cycle? Wild Link is a unique character for Breath of the Wild. I mean, it could do. No, Dragalia Lost wasn't out at the time. I mean, is there anyone from Breath of the Wild we could add in? That's not bad actually as a pick. Is there a character from Breath of the Wild we could add in? That's not Link. Unless we do really just want Wild Link in as a separate character. It'd have to be like one of the Impa is old Impa in there, so that wouldn't work. I like the idea of doing someone from Breath of the Wild though, because it was also on the Wii U. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add Sheeda in as our Mithra replacement. It's a bit of a stretch, but it'll do. I'll replace this with the Tokyo Mirage Sessions version specifically in a second. Yeah, ho, ho, ho. There we go. And so now we just need a Breath of the Wild character, I think. Sidon or Urbosa or Rivali or Breath of the Wild Link. Sidon, Urbosa, Rivali, Daruk. Oh man. Hetsu. Yeah, maybe we do Urbosa. Unless anyone's got any objections. I think of those four, or Mipha. Actually, Mipha's also a shout. Who do we think is the most popular champion of Breath of the Wild? Like, is there like any official popularity polls that we could look at? Koga. Koga's a fun one. See, everyone's giving different answers. Okay. I'm gonna do a Urbosa. Well, let's go for a Urbosa. I think it makes sense to have a Breath of the Wild character, given it's on the Wii U and it's late. Another poll? Okay, yeah, sure. Go on. Yeah, to be fair, in the recent Source Gaming poll, that's a proper shout. Well, Sidon was actually the highest on that, but Mipha and Urbosa were all super high up. So, okay, I'm gonna put these four in. Sorry, Daruk. I think you're clearly the understandable least popular. Okay, is the poll showing up? Yeah. My chat looks like it's frozen. Okay. Did it appear? Did it do the poll? You know what? For the sake of time, I'm gonna go for a Bosa. I don't know why the poll didn't appear. We're gonna do a Bosa. She's gonna be the last Nintendo DLC. Cool. So that is where we're at with Ultimate. But so here's our ultimate. Here's our ultimate roster. But I am a crazy person, and so we're gonna do one more roster. We're gonna do one more roster because we haven't touched the Switch generation yet. We have not touched the Switch generation. So the way this is gonna work is how many characters are we bringing back? So this is going to be the true Ultimate. This is true Smash Brothers Ultimate. True Ultimate, I'm calling it. And now everyone is back. Now everyone is back. The way I'm going to determine the size is sort of by judging how many people is back. So we jumped from the 60. We had 76 in Ultimate base roster, jumped up from like 50 something in Smash for Wii U's, I think, something stupid like that, or 61 or something like that. I think to keep it sort of simple, Smash, cause Smash. Because Ultimate brought back every other fighter, it only added in, what was it, like 14 new fighters, with five of them being Echo fighters, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It added 6 base characters, and then like 5 Echo fighters. For a total of 11 characters, which is exactly one row on here, so that's perfect. So we're going to follow Ultimate's rule by adding in 6 base characters from the Switch and 5 Echo fighters also from the Switch. And then we're going to bring everyone else back. So for the first time since he got cut, Ness is back. Congratulations, Ness. Excite Biker, you get to come back. Captain Falcon, you're finally back. Saki gets to come back. Iron gets to come back. Pichu gets to come back. Sheik gets to come back. Ganondorf. Game & Watch. Young Link. Lucas. Zero Suit Samus. We get to have Snake. We get to have Sammy. Dark Samus, Lynn, Crystal, Isaac, Matthew, Little Mac, Mega Man, Kachi, Proto Man, Micaiah. Who is missing there? Why is somebody blocked out? Who is that? Who was next to Ryu? I forgot who was next to Ryu. Who did we have next to Ryu? Oh, we had Lightning next to Ryu. Where's Lightning gone? Did I accidentally put Lightning into the wrong folder? Where have you gone, Lightning? Legit cannot find it. I've lost Lightning in in all of this. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Lightning. Okay. Okay. So now, for true ultimate, we got all this. This is our full roster. We get 11 more characters. We've got to do 6 of them as base characters, 5 of them as Echo Fighters, all from the Switch era of Nintendo. So before we go in, let's see who we sort of how many spaces we lose through the DLC that did make it in. Because so we got Byleth, right? So that's one of our free slots. We get Pyra and Mithra, which technically count as 2. I'm going to count them as 1, just for the sake of this, and also because they share an icon on here. I'm going to count them as 1 because we got a bit more freedom to work with here. When we get Min Min, wherever Min Min is as well. There she is. Min Min. So these 3 are all in. And then is there anyone else? Because Castlevania's still not come back, so there's still no relevance for Castlevania to be around. So I think that's it. So I think these 3 have to be in here. So we actually only get 3 new characters from the Switch, and then we have to decide 5 Echoes. So which 3 is it? Do we want to, which 3 Switch era characters do we think should be getting in here? So Noah and Mio seems like a good go-to, but we have just added Pyra and Mithra as a new one. Do we want to have Xenoblade take up another space on here? Especially not 2, right? So what else have we got? What are some of the best-selling Switch games? No. Is now Waluigi's time as well? Is now Waluigi's time? I understand the hot take to replace Aegis, but Pyra and Mithra are like the most popular Xenoblade characters. Waluigi time, let him have it. It's Waluigi time. Okay. Good on you, buddy. Where are you? Where on earth is Waluigi in this crowd? He's hiding behind Lucario. He was Lucario the whole time. And so and Smash Brothers always adds a Pokemon. So we need another Pokemon character. We need a Pokemon character from Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet. Or Legends, I guess. Or any of the Legends games. We need a new Pokemon. Wait, who are we doing as a new Pokemon? Are we doing Meowscarada? We do have a Water Starter, and we do have 2 Fire Starters. Oh, Charizard, you shouldn't be here. Get out of here. But we still have 2... We have 3 Fire Starters. Iron Valiant. Give me your pitches for Pokemon characters. Meowscarada to me feels like the most likely one, but I am also more of a Scarlet and Sword and Shield person than a Scarlet and Violet person. So I'd almost be willing to go Sword and Shield instead. But one of our 2 other slots for newcomers, and in fact, actually, one of our slots for newcomers also needs to be a third party, doesn't it? So we also need a third party character. So we need 1 Pokemon and 1 third party who was important in the Switch era. Which third parties had a big Switch impact? Who do we think? Among Us. Oh no. You're not even wrong. Oh no. Boom, 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 boom. Well, actually, is this now Cloud's time to get in? Now we're in an era where Cloud is back to being relevant again. Is this Cloud's time? Ubisoft was all over this. Rabbids is a choice. Bomberman is also a choice. Bomberman, Rabbids, Cloud. Those all fit. Among Us also fits. Among Us also fits. Undertale does. Well, what generation is Undertale? When did... It sort of came out before the Switch, didn't it, Undertale? It came out in 2016. I'm pretty sure. But it didn't come to consoles until the Switch. So maybe it counts as 2015? Damn. Damn, that's so true. Yeah, Among Us is strong. After Minecraft and maybe Momotaro. Okay, well let's think of some Echo fighters as well. And we can do Switch, PS5 and Xbox Series as well. So we also need to think of some Echo fighters, and we still need a new Pokemon. See, Zacian gets choices. I quite like Zacian. I think I'm gonna go with Zacian. I like Zacian. Well, let's do Zacian. Sword Dog is funny idea. So, ooh, Funky Kong for Mr. Funky Mode. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. We can do Funky Kong for Big Funky Mode. That was a Switch thing. Donkey Kong Echo Fighter. Alright, we're doing it. We're gonna get Funky Kong in here. Who else we got? Oh, Octoling, of course. Of course, Octoling, yes. Octoling is an immediate choice. And I already have him here. Octoling. Well, do we want Shadow? Shadow is far more relevant now. Do we want Shadow as a Sonic Echo fighter, though? Maybe we could have him be like in the same way that Chrom has at least one unique move. Maybe we can do that. I think I'd be more comfortable with Shadow being an Echo fighter if we went that direction with him. So Shadow, where are you, Shadow? Do I have a Shadow on here? Maybe I don't have a Shadow. Shadow Mario, but that's not the same thing. I don't think I've got Shadow on here, so I'll grab Shadow from the files. Oh no, I do have Shadow here, in fact, because I recognise that name. I'm looking over him. There he is. Okay, Shadow, you get to be in here. Yeah, that's right. He could be he could be like a Ken. Oh, the limitation: the third pipe must also come with an echo. Ooh, that's true. That is how Ultimate operates, isn't it? Well, no, Shadow Mario couldn't really have been a Sheik replacement because we didn't add in Bowser Jr. until later, did we? So that's true. So we need... The third party fighter needs an echo. So... Oh, no. Didn't mean to get you there. So I'm going to move these three along. So we need one more echo of a base roster character. And then a third party... Cloud and Zack. Could do Cloud and Zack. We could do Cloud and Zack. Maybe we do Cloud and Zack. Okay. Let's do it. Cloud. Well, is Zack... I haven't played Remake yet. Is Zack in Remake? Or did they remake Crisis Core? Is Zack relevant to the current time? I've not actually beaten Final Fantasy VII, so I don't know if 100%. I'm sure Zack is in Final Fantasy VII, isn't he? In Flashback, he's in Rebirth. Okay, that's fine then. We're fine on that front then. Okay, we're getting... Cloud finally makes it in. Crisis Core was available on Switch. Yep, fair enough. Well, it's a port. We sort of said it really early on that we weren't going to count ports, didn't we? But if Zack's in Rebirth, we're fine. So let's do that. Okay, so we got Zack. And then we got, so we need one more Echo Fighter. Last character, Fire Emblem Echo of some sort. I mean, who would it be an Echo Fighter of? Engage does give quite a few options. Now that we've like re-added in everyone else, we could do an Echo Fighter of Lyn, or an Echo Fighter of Micaiah, Echo Fighter of Ike. I don't want to do another Echo Fighter of Marth with Lucina. So, who would Celica be an Echo Fighter? Echo Fighter of Robin? Does that work really? I mean, sword and magic, I suppose. But she doesn't fight. Her magic's not done from a book, is it? Could do Celica still. Could still stick with Celica. Then again, we've got Byleth on the base, so I don't think we need to do a Fire Emblem Echo. Like, Fire Emblem Echo with Chrom made sense as the new Fire Emblem character in Ultimate. But we have Byleth on the base roster, so we don't think we need a Fire Emblem Echo. So I think we can go somewhere else. We could have Tom Nook as like an Isabelle Echo. If we think that's an option. Or Tom Nook is a Villager Echo fighter instead. Like, I think that's big enough series, right? Nook is too tall and too wide. He's got both problems. Too tall for Villager, too wide for Isabelle. How tragic. Poor Nook. I'm now like eye scouring the roster to see who we could pull for an Echo. It's Alice Schultz, but that does the same problem. Because I also want it to still be someone who is... I still want it to be someone who's relevant for base roster. Hisuian Zoroark for Zoroark. Yeah, Ring Fit over Wii Fit doesn't really work for me. Oh, we should bump Link up to Breath of the Wild Link, shouldn't we? Really. After all this. Now that we're on the Switch gen. And I guess we'll just keep the... Now that everyone's back, we'll keep the Zelda characters all sort of different from each other. It's tough. This is tough. So I also still want them to be relevant to the Switch generation. So give me 1 second, guys. Okay. No. I mean, F-Zero did come back on the Switch, but it's only the SNES characters, so we can't do that. Ugh, so hard to pick Echo Fighters, isn't it? Ones that are relevant as well. Yeah, Dry Bowser is... Did Dry Bowser even appear on the... Did Dry Bowser appear on the Switch at all? I don't know if Dry Bowser appeared on the Switch. Like, what game... I mean, Mario Tennis, I guess. Mario Tennis. Oh, it feels like there should be a better option than that, but I am drawing a bit of a blank on it. Can't think of anything for... Can't think of anything for Kirby either. Oh, you know what? One guy made a big name for himself on the Switch who could work as an Echo Fighter. Oh, there's already an Echo Fighter slot for them. Perfect. Perfect. It's Morpho-Knight. We can have Morpho-Knight. Morpho-Knight debuted in Star Allies, reappeared in Thingy as a Switch newcomer. Here we go. Perfect, perfect. Do we want to do DLC as well? DLC for the true, because it will have it. It will have DLC. And I feel like we've sort of undersold the Switch gen a little bit here with Thingy. I think so for DLC. Same thing, just another 11 across the bottom, 1 row of DLC. Same biz, 5 plus a... We'll have 5 plus a free one to make it easy. Free one, I do have a fun idea for who could be the Piranha Plant choice. We could have Bokoblin as the Piranha Plant. Do we want to do Bokoblin? Do we want Bokoblin? Is that a choice we can have? I think so. I think we can do that. So, Bokoblin in. Who else? So, okay, so again, we're gonna have, just based on the ratio of Nintendo to third parties, we're going to have 3 Nintendo characters, and then the rest will be third parties. I guess that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. No, okay, we'll have 4 Nintendo characters. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 third parties, 3 Nintendo characters is what we're doing. Meowscarda, I think. Well, let's see what we've got. Actually, let's see what we've got. I think Meowscarda. First off, we should have a. We do need to have a rep for Pokemon. So let's do that. I'm just grabbing and just moving some stuff up. It's easier to track. So yeah, so where I don't think I have Meowscarada downloaded, so I'll do that now. Meowscarada, even, I keep saying it wrong. Although I like Ogerpon personally. You know what? Actually, I don't. We don't even need Meowscarada. Lame pick, basic pick. I'm going for. I'm in charge here. We're going for Ogerpon instead. I don't know who made this symbol. It's got a different name. It's got a different font. But oh well. So we've got Ogerpon. I think this is where Ring Fit comes in. I think we can do Ring Fit character here. So where's Ring Fit? And then I saw Ravenbeak, I saw Noah and Mio, Silex technically counts as a thing. Alright, so I think it's between Ravenbeak or Mio. Oh, you know what? We could just do both. Why don't we do it 5 and 6? Actually, I think let's do that because we're just sort of making it up anyway, aren't we? So let's say we're going to do Mio. Why is Nichijou Mio here? No. And we'll do Ravenbeak as well. Oh, Ochi! Pooh! Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, of course, Ochi. Oh, that's not. Ooh, I don't know. I think I like Ochi as a choice. But does Ochi add anything new that's DLC worthy? Right. I like Ochi, but Ochi feels like a base game character to me. That's the problem. I do like Ochi as a choice. Never Mio. And Ravenbeak is here as well. Right. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna settle with this, and then DLC characters. So we can have Sephiroth in DLC because he's relevant thanks to Final Fantasy VII now being relevant. So we can have Sephiroth. What third-party characters are important to the Switch generation of Nintendo? And it can be PS5 and it can be Xbox Series. Which third-party characters are relevant? Bomberman? Yep. Among Us? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. You are correct on that. Alright. Okay. Among Us. I think we do Among Us. We do Crash. Crash made a big comeback in this era. Should we do Bomberman? Bomberman is also quite relevant in this era. And then do we want to do Rabbids? Is that one we want to do in this era? And then we need one more. Who else do we got? Like, that's the thing with Nier, right? Is Nier Automata got added on the Switch, but it was also on other platforms first, and the Switch was just getting everything late. Yeah, Hollow Knight or Hades is also... I did think about Hollow Knight as an option. Well, no, or Hades. Because I was thinking about Shovel Knight as an option earlier. But because we didn't go with Shovel Knight or Shantae earlier, I feel like we wouldn't go for Hollow Knight or Hades now. Yeah, but Sephiroth's there because Final Fantasy VII Remake came out in, like, 2020. Whereas, like, Nier Automata was, what, like 2016 or something? Alright. 2017. So we are missing a fighting game character. Do we want to do Soul Bad Guy? That feels like the next one along the list, and Guilty Gear Strive is a big game of this generation, right? It was also on Switch. What Switch? Wait, is Guilty Gear Strive on Switch? There are some Guilty Gear games on Switch. Maybe not Strive. Oh no, it is. It is on Switch. I like the idea of Soul Bad Guy. Let's do Soul. And then we need one more third-party character. Anyone stand out from the PS5 Switch era? I really want to activate Agenda Ozzy. I really do. But there's nowhere it fits. It just doesn't fit anywhere. There's not been a new Murasame Castle game or a new Gex game. And I couldn't do Famicom Detective Club for this either, even though it would be relevant, because there's just not a good fighter for that. This will be the first roster I do without Takamaru on it, which is truly tragic. If we had started earlier in the NES era, then I would have done it. Should have started on a Smash Brothers, where it was NES characters. Then I could have agendaed my way into putting Takamaru on here. So we got 2B, we got Dante, we got Doom Guy. Still nothing for Castlevania. Rabbid. I think maybe we do Rabbids. There's either that original Rabbid or it's like Rabbid Peach. Rabbid Peach is definitely the most popular one. For the sake of time, because I am starting to get a bit fatigued on this, we'll do Rabbid Peach. We'll end this with Rabbid Peach. What a DLC selection that is. Alright, well there we got it. There we go. So this is the most... This is Smash Brothers if it was relevant to each generation that it went through. Starting with the Super Nintendo and Game Boy era, we moved through and made every character relevant to the era of gaming that their next Smash Brothers counterpart came out on. And this is how we ended up. This is where we ended up with the imposter in Smash Brothers. So, I hope everyone enjoyed. Yeah, so who didn't make it in, actually? So, just a very quick one. Who from Smash Brothers Normal didn't make it in? We never got Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers never made it. We never got Roy. Roy never made it in. We didn't get any of the Castlevanias. Simon or Richter, neither of them made it in. We didn't get Rob. Rob didn't make it in. King K. Rool didn't make it in. Duck Hunt did not make it in either. Then I think that might be it. Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo and Kazooie did not make it in either. The Scrimblows in a tragedy. Oh, you know who I just realised is missing as well, who could have made it in that last section? Geno, because Mario RPG came back, so it was relevant to this era. Ooh, do I want to change something up? Do I want to add Geno in? If we add Geno in, who do we have to replace, though? Who do we replace for Geno? Yeah, okay, I could do that. I mean, rabbits were pretty big, but like it's also a Mario crossover, isn't it? Geno, Super Mario RPG did come back. Nah, we got to leave the imposter. Ozzy's right. Among Us was super big at this time. Geno feels like a good one to end it on as well. So there we go. There we go. There's the roster. We're ending it on Geno. Ending it on Geno. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So thanks everyone for sitting with me for this, like, what was it, like 3 hours? 3 hours and a half? Took me... These things always take forever. I will make slightly neater versions of these rosters. I'll make, like, Iron an actual icon and Sachi an actual icon. You know what? I should have made Issa an Echo Fighter. When we were struggling for Echo Fighters before, that was my time to make one for Issa, but to have the whole Sin and Punishment cast, but whatever. But yeah, that was fun. I'm glad to got this off my mind after coming up with the idea at the start of the week. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and have a good rest of the weekend. Have a good long weekend if you're like me and you've got a bank holiday coming up on Monday. Get a day off of work. Let's go. Oh, also, I have a new video coming out on Monday as well. It's about the Virtual Boy. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that Virtual Boy video. It's a lot of fun. I have guests on it. It's a good time. Alright. Thanks everyone. Have a good evening.